The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I also know I'm getting older because I was watching this MILF porn, and it just seemed like regular porn. MILFs used to look like my friend's mom. Now they just look like my friends.
I was driving down here a couple days ago, and there's this big billboard on 71 that says that real men don't need porn. Well, maybe I wouldn't need porn if real women would me.
My wife's anti-porn. I don't think my wife really gets porn. It's always like, it's degrading to women, it's degrading to me. And I tell her, you don't have to sell me on it. I'm in. I think the problem a lot of women have, and I know my wife's one of these women that, you know, when I watch porn, she'll say to me, well, real women don't do that stuff. You think I'm going to do that stuff? No, that's why I watch that stuff. If real women did this stuff, I would not need to watch this stuff. I'm well aware of the fact that real women don't do the things you see in porn. If real women did that stuff, I would not be doing comedy. I'd be cleaning swimming pools and delivering pizza.
Oh, we better get going. We hope everybody's doing well. You're listening to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Here we sat on a Thursday, early in the damn morning. Awful early. So yeah, Josh and I stayed up all night watching dirty movies. Then Cubby throws all kinds of porn, this and that information, all kinds of porn jokes into our show intro to prepare for our scheduled guest this morning. But then just a few minutes ago, we found out that our porn star friend Jordan Max will not be joining us in studio. She's not feeling well.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sorry to hear that. So if any of you are currently paying Jordan to watch you masturbate on her OnlyFans page, do us a favor and tell her that we hope she feels well very soon.
I enjoyed when Ashley came in to tell us, she says, BT dubs. That's how she started the whole thing.
I heard that, yeah.
Oh, you could hear that from over there?
I was sitting in the table out there.
Masturbating to Jordan's OnlyFans page?
Yeah, I was the one paying her, actually.
I didn't even realize that I dumped one of those on you guys. I say that quite often, but maybe I dumb it down here.
It took me a second to understand. Oh, she means by the way.
Yep.
BT dubs.
If you're talking to Jordan right now over OnlyFans and you're paying her to watch you touch yourself, tell her that we said get well soon.
I wonder if she does that. I know she's a Renaissance woman. You know, in that field, she does quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And you can pay her to rate your penis.
Yeah.
She does watch people masturbate.
Well, hell, I would if they pay me.
Yeah, to say. Where do I sign up? Everyone needs a side gig these days.
Yeah, that's true. Always have a good plan B.
I wonder how much money you can make doing that. I mean, let's say, Nick, it's a whole bunch of ladies want to pay you to watch them masturbate. Would you forget to charge them? Like you forgot to send them an invoice? Or maybe you accidentally just send them money somehow?
Wow. Overwhelming, the thought of such a thing. I would need you as my business manager to remind me to charge them my going rate, which would be $69 an hour.
Of course.
That's too bad. Jordan's a cool lady, and we were excited for her to swing through. But,
She'd be here if she could.
When you're sick, you're sick.
I could really relate to that dude who was saying that thing about how MILF porn used to be like friends, but now it's like just, they're your friends. You've gotten older to the point where the MILFs just look like people you know.
A little less kinky?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's true. I'm sure everybody had that friend's parent where you thought, if I only had a chance.
Uh-huh.
You know, we even set aside some filthy material for Jordan's visit this morning, and it ain't going to happen. But that's all right. Filthy show material has staying power. There's no expiration date on filth, is there, Josh?
No, I don't think so.
Or as I've heard you refer to it before, smut.
Yeah, it's smut. Most of it is smut. Inappropriate smut.
But yeah, we were going to talk about pornos and dildos and stuff. Did I ever tell you guys the pornos and dildos and stuff story?
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a good chance.
Not ringing any bells yet.
No. This was many, many years ago when I was just getting started in radio. Before Cubby and I were even tight, you know. I was working on this awful, horrible morning show. We didn't know poor leadership involved in this program. We didn't know who we were going to be one day to the next because the leaders involved, those in charge, just didn't know what they were doing. One day, we were bound and determined to shock everybody in town with our wild this and that. The next day, we're going to have a love expert on to talk about relationships. The next day, we're going to have on the guy who plays Joey from Friends. And then the next day, we're going to have Marilyn Manson in studio and dissect some kittens. It was just awful. It was awful. I hated every second of it. Hated it. Thank you for coming along, Cubby.
Well, thank you.
So this was one of those days, you know, I was so burned out on the friggin' scene. It was just so terrible. But this was one of the days where we were going to be very serious about relationships and have a relationship expert on the air with us. And she was very soft-spoken and talked about love and what are some of the other big words that folks use in relationship? Love and life partners and monogamy, and you know where I'm going with this.
Hey!
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you nailed it.
Did I say that right?
Usually you can't pronounce monogamy. Maybe it's only in correlation with yourself and practicing it yourself. Let's give it a shot. So you recently got, you about a month ago or so, you get married.
Look at the date.
Is today the anniversary?
Oh, for God's sake, I've been married officially for a month.
Yeah, it's a month anniversary today.
Okay.
Congrats.
And since, when you get married, you're really, depending on, the terms of your marriage, most people are monogamous, where they don't sleep with other people. So have you been monogamous? Say, I've been monogamous.
I have been anonymous.
I knew it.
Anonymous?
No, you said it before. Now, say it in reference to me.
Josh is monogamous.
See, you can do it.
What's happening here? So
you don't notice what you're doing?
You're kind of tapping into my psyche.
Yeah. Do you notice it when it happens?
No, I just said monogamous.
Yeah, for me. Yeah, now
for you.
Okay, now for you, you say it. I've been monogamous.
I've been Hanana. Hanana.
Close enough.
It's been a month. So here we are. Live on the air with this boring, very really boring and very straight-laced love expert. And the first 2-3 calls are very boring. I'm 31 now, and I've struggled to find a partner who takes education and child raising seriously. It's going nowhere. And then we get this call. And this was a legit person. It wasn't anyone putting on a bit. I'm 99.9% sure. But we go, next thing we know, okay, let's talk to Chad, live from Prior Lake or whatever. And the guy goes, hello? And right away, I looked at a dude I was working with, and I thought, this could be something. And the love expert says, hello, Chad. What can I help you with this morning?
Well, my girlfriend and I are sort of having sexual issues.
This is exactly how the guy sounded.
Just not clicking, in the sack. And I was just curious if you have any advice for me on that. Girlfriend and I were just not quite compatible sexually.
And I'm just praying for something good. And he delivered. The sex expert says, so have the two of you and your girlfriend, have you been trying anything new to, spice up the relationship? And here's what Chad from Prior Lake dumps on us.
I don't know, just like some pornos and dildos and stuff.
And I lost it, man. me and this dude I was working with at the time, we friggin' lost it. Because everything was so perfect and polite and, all the prior calls were so... There's some words here that I can't quite find, but I think you know where I'm going. It was so G-rated. and boring. And then here comes Chad, and he killed it. While this conversation was happening, I never in a million years thought some dude was going to say out loud,
I don't know. Just like some pornos and dildos and stuff.
That's funny.
And, then the sex expert is upset with me and my partner at the time because we're roaring with laughter and we never stop until the end of the segment.
How do you not laugh at that?
That's so good.
And the host of the show was upset with us, too, because we're supposed to be talking seriously about... F off.
That's good.
Dude, that dude ruled.
I told you this not too long ago. When Nick and I were volunteering and you guys were doing some sinful stuff, I can't remember what it was, but you ignored the volunteer opportunities that Nick and I, of course, jumped on.
I remember when we were volunteering.
Yeah, and then they didn't. You remember that part, too?
And of course I remember that no one else from this program volunteered with us. Of course I remember that.
I was dealing some pornos and dildos and stuff.
We volunteer so often I forget what we were doing.
I know, it takes a while sometimes for it to come back.
What the hell were we doing?
I was with one of those people you used to have on that would do those sort of segments, who just happened to be there.
Yes.
And
yes.
So that person comes up to me and first thought I was you, and which happens often. Right? They get us confused. And I said, no, I'm Josh. And this person's like, yeah, okay. I'm a millionaire. I think it was within a minute talking about how much money this person makes.
Isn't that sickening?
I can't remember exactly how they phrased it, but it was pretty out of nowhere. And what do you say to something like that? Congratulations.
You just reconnect with someone that you haven't seen in 20 years probably, right?
Right.
And first off, she mistakes you for me. The next thing out of this person's mouth is how much money they have in the bank.
Yeah.
God,
millionaire. Close to $2 million.
And now you know why I speak so negatively of those old days, except for Chad from Prior Lake.
So I had to say, well, it was really nice seeing you. I'm going to go back to volunteering to help impoverished people. But congratulations on that.
Oh!
I don't miss those days. We even had to do that a little bit when we first started. Some of that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure.
Then this boss gets fired for something terrible. This boss gets fired for something even worse. And eventually we get a cool boss and he'll leave us alone.
Pornos and dildos and stuff. So luckily, there are other subjects that we can have intelligent conversations about this morning. We can save the filth for later. The internet's come undone again. Folks arguing back and forth. I'll tell you, I read about this deal. I wasn't on the front lines for this. I'll tell you this much. I'd hate to have to decide on where to take a gal on a first date these days because, damn, according to the internet, just about every first date idea we've ever known is no longer good enough.
This was actually kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
This is insane.
I got annoyed reading
I'm glad
it.
you feel that way, Ashley.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. All of the things, I imagine you've seen the list that I've seen, Nick. All of the things on this list, I would be more than happy to do on a first date, except for the family occasions. That's weird.
Yeah, okay, there's a couple on there that I totally agree with, but
church.
One of them on there, well, church for some people would be great. That was my parents' first date.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. And one of them on this list was my first date with my wife, who I've been monogamous with since we got together.
You have been monogamous.
Yes, that's correct.
I see where you're going with this now. I can say it unless I'm talking about myself.
It's weird. It's like this weird thing.
I've gone crazy. Oh, well, I should ask this question. So again, it appears that every first date idea that we've ever known is no longer good enough. Let me ask Ashley, because she seems to know the most about this. Does an F-boy go on a date?
No.
No, F-boys don't go on dates?
No, they don't.
I'll try to remember that.
No,
They're
not at all.
hookups. Just hookups for F-boys.
I thought you said something completely different.
Yeah, me too.
My heart dropped for a second.
The internet it's hard to believe that we're having this argument in 20 plus 23. This just seems like this is a subject we shouldn't be arguing about anymore. It's just so simple and stupid. But the internet is divided, and a huge debate has been happening. over a list of 28 places women, according to the story, 28 places women refuse to go to on a first date.
I was just talking about this kind of thing with a buddy the other day because he's got a friend who's recently divorced and he's on the dating apps and, it's been frustrating for him. He's around my age, late 40s. He ended up making out with a girl at a bar. And this was like kind of a big story because he hasn't had, but he didn't close the deal and everyone was totally confused why this didn't happen. But I was thinking, I am undateable because honestly, nobody would put up with me at this point. I'm so set in my ways.
I disagree, but go ahead.
I mean, like if somebody's like, "Hey, I want to go downtown and try this new restaurant," nah, it's all right.
I'll get you an Uber. You want to go?
Yeah.
Well, but I think your charm and personality and the amount of money that you have in your bank account, of
Close
course,
to $2 million.
I think many women would overlook that. Okay, Cubby don't like to go downtown.
Oh, I think I'm good in small doses. I think just if it was this, getting into the daily routine and me turning down things constantly, that get a little old.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
people.
people.
Because I'm past the part where I fake all the interests. Certainly when you're younger. Do I want to go to Cirque du Soleil? Are you kidding? I already bought tickets. Of course I want to go.
You would be fine. You'd be crawling with ass within a half hour if your wife checked out or the two of you split up or whatever. You'd be fine. So here we go. I'm going to read to you the list of the 28 places apparently women refuse to go to on a first date now that we've hit 20 plus 23. All these places seem to me used to be fun. Well, not all of them. I have an issue with a couple of them. So here we go. Now, before you panic, Ashley has already said she finds this list ridiculous, and there are plenty of other women out there who find this list ridiculous, but this is the way they're going with this. The 28 places where women refuse to go on a first date. And you said one of these joints you took your old lady, Josh.
Yeah, it was our first date.
Let me see if I think...
You'll know it if you think about our reception.
Oh, got it. I got it already. Your wedding reception, you mean. Okay, Cheesecake Factory is in here.
I've never been there.
That was like in high school. That was the date when you were trying to be super fancy.
Exactly.
You took her to Cheesecake Factory, bro.
That was like the prom spot.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
That was the move.
Yep.
Never been crazy about the place, but number 2 on the list is one of my favorite joints. Apple Damn Peas.
Love
Love
Applebee's.
it.
Seriously.
I dig that joint. Chili's.
Nothing wrong with Chili's.
Although now it's changed
Yeah,
since
that's changed.
Jana mentioned that's the place you break up with someone at Chili's.
I did dump a girl at Chili's. So therefore, my current girlfriend will refuse to ever go to Chili's with me. She goes, "You can go alone if you really want the sizzling fajitas that badly."
Well, that's the thing. You can't get mad with sizzling fajitas and a giant margarita.
Right.
I love that Chili's bit, by the way. Yeah, I got taken to Chili's last night. That means you got dumped. I love that bit. Number 4, here we go, Josh. This is where you took your wife on your first date. Chipotle.
Chipotle, yeah.
Nice.
Olive Garden.
You would. That's kind of funny.
What's funny?
That Josh would take her to Chipotle for the first date.
Yeah, it's a spot.
That's great.
I bet Josh walked in. Everybody knew his name. Hey, Josh, you want the
Confident.
regular?
No, it was a different one. They didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, I walked in. I said, you know what? Get whatever you want. Order whatever you want off the menu.
Double
You know what I
protein.
mean?
Go for it.
I am a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, you already know what you're going to get, so you don't have to worry about that, too.
Exactly.
Apparently, you can't take a lady to Olive's Garden.
That's another date spot in high school.
Definitely. Got a lot of homecomings there.
Unlimited breadsticks.
Get the
Nothing wrong with
trio.
that.
I never went to any of these places in high school. I never hit any of these places till I was in my 20s. We just didn't do things like that. Okay, so not all of these examples of where women, according to the internet, refuse to go to on first dates anymore. Not all of them are chain restaurants and whatnot. Here we go. Apparently the movies are off the table now. You can't take a gal to the movies.
That's the other one I thought was big.
I would say that's more of a second, third date. Because then you really can't talk at the movies.
Oh, I like to talk
That's
at
true.
movies. Like if somebody calls, I answer my phone. If they can't hear me, I just talk louder.
I guess that'd be a good way to weed someone out. Like, are they texting a lot during the movie? Do they talk a lot? Do they chew really loud?
That's true, Papa.
That was our thing. I just mentioned that we didn't go to Applebee's and Chipotle and Olive Garden and Chili's in high school for dates. We went to the movies. That was the number one most popular answer. And yeah, okay, you can't talk during a movie. You can do plenty of talking on the way there. Afterwards, you go get a few, smoke some joints or whatever you do. I agree with this one. This is kind of creepy. Hey, it's a first date. You want to come over to my house?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, if you're looking for an F buddy, there's nothing wrong with that. Or what's the other term? If
Plus,
you're
it's
looking
like a house party or something.
if you're looking for just a
hookup,
piece, a hookup, sure, your
friend
house.
with benefits.
Me and my boyfriend's first date was technically at his house.
Explain
what do you mean?
yourself.
Yeah, technically.
Well, I wouldn't consider. I don't know if
What, you met him
consider
there?
it a first date. I just was like, hey, I'm gonna come over, and he was like, cool, come over, and then I went to his house.
So that's not a first date. Your relationship is a hookup that turned into something more.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and my
You
girlfriend
floozy.
ended at her house.
I'm sorry.
Me and my girlfriends ended at her house.
You and your girlfriend's what?
First date
First
ended at
date
her house.
ended at her house.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you close the deal? Be honest.
Yes, I did.
Was that a radio answer?
No, it wasn't.
Any fast food chain is no longer cool. Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet.
I would be stoked if someone was like, hey, do you want to go to Old Country Buffet for the first date?
Let's go to Pizza Ranch.
Oh, I'd be so
Dude,
in.
Pizza Ranch. Yeah, but Buffalo Wild. What if you wanted to watch like a World Series game or something together?
Right. This is silly. IHOP, Denny's. What the hell is this? Okay,
That would be kind of weird. IHOP and Denny's.
What's wrong with IHOP and
Breakfast
Denny's?
dates are awesome.
Yeah, I guess I'm picturing it more just in the morning.
When
Well,
my
hell
wife used
no.
to work overnights, I would meet her before work sometimes.
There ain't nothing wrong with
like
you.
at a Denny or a Perkins.
It's not. Those joints aren't just for breakfast.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, in my mindset, I'm like always there in the morning. So I'd be like, early first date in the morning.
Am I the only guy in the room who's gotten drunk at a Perkins? I'm not talking about showing up drunk. I'm talking about getting drunk.
No.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I was going the other way. Yes.
One time years. You don't need to hear the story. But we got drunk at Perkins.
A buddy of mine barfed all over a table at Perkins.
I barfed in a Denny's.
Yeah, because you go there at 1:30 in the morning. You're 21 years old. You're hammered. You want to get the moons over my hammy or whatever they say.
Yes.
Okay, like I mentioned, some of these I agree. This is an odd idea for a first date. Listen to this one. I can understand why women across all across town would say no to this. Hey, do you want to meet me at the gym?
Well, that was also a date for me and my
gross.
wife. You know, she worked at it or still works at a gym. So we'd go, we like to get our bodies and minds healthy together. So we'd go to the gym.
This was early in the relationship.
Yeah.
When you drank coffee there, or when you worked out?
No, worked out at
you
the
worked
gym
out
together,
together.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
I tried to do that once, like go on a first date to the gym, and it was awful. I hated it.
Can I interrupt real quick? Am I destroying my bad boy image with some of these admissions?
I'm looking at you in a different light, now, Josh. Yeah.
God dang it.
now, okay. If you know the person, you've been on a couple of dates, you talked on the phone, you know them a little bit, then I don't think it's totally bizarre to go to the gym. If both of you are into working out, then go ahead, do your squats. But a first date, do you want to go to the gym? No.
Absolutely not.
That
I
would
don't
be
want
a
you to
weird
see me
first date.
The hell? I mean,
just drenched in sweat.
You're right. Yeah.
How sober do you think I am? Also on the list is let's go to church. That's what crazy people do.
No, thank you.
You don't go to church on a date unless you're crazy. Okay, Starbucks, or generally speaking, coffee dates.
That's odd to me. I thought that was like the safe date. Like that's what you did, Dana, right? You pretended you liked coffee.
Right. Yeah.
I went on a coffee
I
date.
went on a first date, and then it went well, and we were walking out. So I was walking her to her car, and I panicked. And I said, let's get together for coffee this week, because I think that's just what people did. It was like some of the first dates I had after I got divorced.
And this is the girl you're with now?
No, different girl.
Well, wait. But you'd already been with the girl you're with now for like 3 weeks before you went on this first date at Starbucks.
That's not true.
Well, what's going on now? Because
this was the girl that you guys.
Well, no.
I was teasing you. I'm trying to get you in trouble.
The girl that you brought to where were we last weekend?
The casino.
Yes, I remember her. Who's that other one?
That's the one that you guys made fun of me for because she took me up to her cabin and
No,
then
the other one that I saw. The other one that I saw a couple days before we went to the casino.
Sorry, I'm not following the bit.
No, you're struggling here.
She stayed in that other room you kept going between your room and that room.
Like classic sitcom style, like running back and forth between hotel rooms, trying to keep things straight.
Shirts and you got one thing wrong. Like,
Now
this is
just my opinion. I think going out for coffee is like one of the dorkiest things two people can do. It wasn't that long ago, a friend of mine said, I went on a date the other night, and I said, oh, yeah, where'd you go? Well, we just went out for coffee, and I learned that she knows my... And I said, what?
I thought that was super common.
It is. It is. I'm calling it dorky. That's all. That's the only route I'm taking here. And this buddy of mine said, yeah, we went out for coffee. And I said, what, were you in a dry county or something? You mean you went out for coffee? Who are you, Jerry and George from Seinfeld? I just think that's wildly dorky. That's just me.
If we went to Panera, she could get coffee, I'd get some soup. What do you think of soup on a first date?
Soup.
I'll tell you, soup anytime, Cubby.
Anything is a vagina if you're brave enough, Jesus said. I just tuned in. I got a quick question. Where the hell are guys allowed to take ladies on a first date?
Right.
Everything's been shot down.
And we're not even done yet.
Maybe?
He's right. We're not even done yet. Ice cream dates. Ice cream dates? When you go have a ice cream cone? I haven't heard of that one
I
yet.
think that's sweet.
Family functions, again, that's what crazy people do.
That is absolutely insane.
That's the one where I totally agreed with. I would never do that to someone. I would pray no one would ever do that to me.
You want to go out on a date? Sure. Where should we go? Well, my cousin's having a birthday party. What are you talking about? No, we're not going to a family event for a first date. Women these days don't want to do the watching a movie at your house, Netflix, Hulu thing.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, if somebody said, hey, do you want to come over and watch something on Netflix? I would think, gotta shave my pubes, gotta buy some condoms. I would think this is going to happen.
Somewhere that requires a long drive. No one wants to do that anymore.
Yeah, I understand that in case things aren't going well. That could be pretty awkward.
What's the longest you ever drove for a first date, Josh?
Madison. But it was more just to hook up.
Yeah.
I was giving her a ride to Madison. By that I mean driving her to Madison back to school.
I know that story about but I'm talking about a date. You had no sexual plans. It was just we're gonna meet up, we're gonna have dinner.
Buffalo.
Buffalo
from where did I live at the time?
Like Prior Lake or something, right?
I think it was either Shakopee or Prior Lake.
So that's a pull.
Picked her up in Buffalo. That was the worst date I ever had. That night with you.
I remember that.
Let me be specific. I wasn't dating you.
Right.
You saved my ass that night.
I saved him from probably being stabbed to death on the worst first date of Cubby's life.
It was terrible.
For me, I drove up to God dang. We're talking strictly first dates, no hookup plans. Oh, it was somewhere's like near St. Cloud from here. And it was kind of a disaster. Okay, let's wrap this up. Furthermore, the 28 places that, according to the internet, women refuse to go to on a first date anymore. Bowling, a nightclub, a hookah bar.
Yeah, don't take me to a hookah bar.
I live close to one of those.
Headaches.
Okay, I've never been to a hookah bar. Is that where you smoke marijuana?
No, it's like a shisha or whatever.
Yeah. Shisha,
it's called.
Shisha.
Yeah, it's like tobacco.
Warrior Princess. Shisha, Warrior Princess. She rode a tiger. She dated He-Man. Am I way off?
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yes.
You can put marijuana in the shisha, though.
How would you know?
I may have done it.
Now, women don't want to go to the Waffle House anymore.
I would. I've never been to a Waffle House. I hear it's great. But
they're
boy,
wonderful.
do you read a lot of news stories about what happens at Waffle House.
I've done some things I'm not proud of.
I want to go and just watch things unfold.
Where is a Waffle House?
Down south.
Down south.
Right, okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I used to go to them when I was in Mississippi and Louisiana, back when I was a young guy. I used to travel down there now and again, and I loved going to the Waffle House.
Yeah,
because the food was delicious, and you just don't want to stop eating and everyone is nuts.
Yeah, my buddy lives in Florida, and the first time I went to visit him, as soon as we got off the plane, I said, I want to go to a Waffle House. It was great.
And the last two here, I mean, we're just out of places. Like the text we got a little a few minutes ago where a listener said, where the hell are we supposed to take anyone on a first? Because the last two, they don't want to go to ball games anymore.
I don't understand what's happening here, honestly.
That's a dream first date.
And simply a bar just for drinks. That's the simplest and most perfect date in my book. Let's just meet up. We don't have to watch each other eat. We'll just have a couple of drinkies and be on our way.
It wasn't too long ago we talked about younger folks aren't really drinking as much as people used to.
They're going to the hookah bar for the pisha.
Yeah, I genuinely can't think of what else is left.
That's the question, isn't it, Smashley? What else is left?
So I thought like activities like
going for a hike.
Yeah, something like that.
That's how you get killed.
That
please,
terrible.
Going on a hike and activities make me friggin' vomit.
Can we try something real quick here?
I noticed that concerts weren't in here. Even though I've been on a couple first dates at concerts, and I thought it was kind of awkward just because of the noise and all the derelicts.
Yeah.
You had a question, Josh?
All right, so I just want to try something else. Insomniac Jesus recommended we try this. It's this weird connection you have between your brain and mouth when it comes to certain words and how it relates to you.
It has been interesting to find this out about myself.
All right, so let's describe this. My wife and I, since we've been together, we are exclusive. What's another word for that?
I think where you're going with this is you and your wife are monogamous.
That's right. Now, you and your wife today officially have been married for 1 month.
Yes, we have.
Now, assuming you have been true to each other,
True.
What would that be called? You and your wife are...
You meant Maximus.
Yeah, see, it doesn't work anymore.
Maximus Aurelius. The son of Maximus Ondonalus and the father of a murdered child and the husband of a murdered wife. And I will have my revenge in this life or the next.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Beautiful line.
All right, here's where Insomniac Jesus wants to go. He's going to test another word, all right?
Insomniac Jesus, okay.
So my wife and I,
Yes.
we've never cheated on each other.
What?
So we have never committed what?
Oh, I'm familiar with this.
What's the term?
Adultery.
That's right. We've never committed adultery. Your wife and you have been married for 1 month.
1 month.
You've been exclusive to each other, I assume. And Nick, you have never committed what?
Daughtry.
Oh, no.
Daughtry.
There's another one. Oh, my God.
Appearing at Medina Ballroom with the Little River Band and Ricky Nelson coming up.
Ricky Nelson?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I thought about Ricky.
I can't say these words.
I noticed.
Because I was born to be an F-boy.
It is your true calling, I feel like.
All right, look at the time. We got to get going. I don't know what to tell you if you're taking a lady on a first date. Don't know what to tell you.
Maybe just ask her, is there anything we can do?
Can't help you. It's become a real task. Okay. Thursday morning, we're getting there. You're a terrific crowd, and we'll return here shortly on the Programski.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Every Monday, Rich Eisen and Chris Brockman react to what's happening in the world of football on Overreaction Monday.
Dolphins, Final Four AFC team. Oh, that is not an overreaction at all. I'm with you.
You're in.
I am in. The other three Final Four teams, if you're asking me to call my shot, this is the Overreaction Monday podcast.
Call your shot.
Entertainment purposes only, unless I'm right.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, Ravens. Final Four.
Overreaction Monday, the podcast, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
For God's sake. There's semen all over everything.
We found that out here, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm not just talking here at the radio studios, but yeah, we found out a few years ago that our radio studios are just covered in semen. I'm talking outside the building. There's semen being put everywhere, and that's not good.
Yeah, I wonder how much you encounter every day and just don't know it.
It's not good.
I'd rather not know.
Now, accidental semen placement is one thing. But here, to fire up this edition of the Stupid News, we're talking about intentional semen placement. And yes, we just told the story in our stupid news segment a couple days ago about some maniac bastard who beat off on some gal's dinner. Well, now this. A woman staying at a Ritz-Carlton hotel. Summers outside of San Francisco. By God, Cubby, she was there to celebrate her birthday.
Well, that sounds fun.
Those are fancy hotels, I hear, too.
She says...
Ritz-Carlton?
Well, let me have it. I got it here in front of me. It's an expensive joint. $800 a night.
Whoa.
$800 a night. So here's this gal staying at the Ritz-Carlton. It's her birthday. She says a staff member there at the hotel hand-tossed some of his own personal spuzz into a Ritz-Carlton labeled water bottle and served it to her.
No.
Here you go.
If that's true, then I'm sticking, and no pun intended, I'm sticking to what I said about the dude who whipped off on that gal's dinner. Give him 30 years.
Dip him in my discipline volcano. Still under construction.
She says at one point or another during her stay over there at the hotel, she ordered water to her room. We want water, she said. She was there with her husband. And there it showed up, by God, in a cute little plastic bottle. In the middle of the night, she took a little sip-ski. And that's when she realized that the taste and the texture of the water was, a little semen-y.
Cool that she knew that, but yuck.
She got a lawsuit cooking over this. According to the lawsuit, this poor gal was mortified, terrified, embarrassed, humiliated. Like I said, she was there with the old man. The two of them called the cops. I already mentioned it's $800 a night to stay at this joint, so they got some deep pockets, by God. Here's the deal. Word is the Ritz-Carlton folks, they sent the water bottle to a laboratory for analysis. And the testing did, in fact, confirm that the water contained man chowder.
That is so terrible. It's disgusting.
But according to the story, the folks who operate the hotel have refused to disclose the identities of the employees on duty that night so that their backgrounds and criminal histories can be looked over. That's kind of crooked. I want to know who was working there that night. Who put themselves into my water? I'm not sure how much money this couple might want to pull out from under the Ritz-Carlton. It says here their main concern is that this deviant is caught so that no one else is victimized. In closing, the story says, thus far, the Ritz-Carlton have been more concealing than cooperative, trying to protect their reputation. A little erectoplasm.
Yeah, that's gross, dude.
A little high fructose corn syrup.
Ew.
That's awful. 30 years. I think is fair punishment for that. We've heard things, haven't we, Cubby?
So far, we're off to a good start. All the naughty sauce you find everywhere.
We've heard some things. We've heard bad things before about folks trying to eat a damn octopus for dinner. Things go sideways. The tentacles, they grab at the inside of your throat on the way down, and your wind gets cut off, and then the lights go out and you wake up dead. We've heard those stories before. Well, now here's some poor bastard in South Korea had a big fat-ass heart attack and died after choking on an octopus dinner. He was 82 years old. They couldn't revive the, They couldn't revive the old guy after he went down. He choked, and that was the end. He checked out. That's how it worked. In South Korea, they call an octopus dinner Sannakji. So if you're ever in South Korea and they offer you Sannakji, you say no. The story says it was a live octopus that this guy tried to fire down. And
those are the ones that get you.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, according to the story, I've never tried octopus, never been to South Korea. I know very little about. I mean, I can tell you everything about pot pies and mac and cheese for dinner. I can't tell you about. The story says it's not really alive. The octopus is killed dead before it's served, but the tentacle's nerves are still active.
Oh, right.
So it looks alive. It keeps a wiggling on your plate for a while.
Creepy.
And I imagine if you eat it, right after the server puts your plate on the table, those tentacles still have the ability to grab. But it's very popular that way in South Korea. It's popular to fire it down. They like the feeling of the moving of the tentacle. I don't know. Ugh. Even before this latest guy, other people have died in a similar fashion, like we said. According to the local papers, 3 people died of asphyxiation from eating live octopus between 2007 and 2012. 2 others choked themselves out in 20+13, and a man in his 70s ate live octopus in 2019, and he took a dirt nap too. Sannakji has been described as one of the world's most dangerous foods. Some of the others are poisonous pufferfish.
Mm-hmm.
Those get folks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I guess you have to be a really, really skilled chef to be able to butcher those.
I learned that from The Simpsons.
The pufferfish?
Mm-hmm. Poisonous pufferfish will kill you dead. Bullfrogs? Never heard of that. I never heard of folks eating bullfrogs. And also on the list of the world's most dangerous foods, a frozen pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning after 2-for-1s.
Oh, no.
There's one more quick story here. A South Korean man was sentenced to life behind bars a decade ago after blaming his girlfriend's death on a live octopus eating accident. The local media called it the octopus murder. They did. But he was acquitted the following year for insufficient evidence. And it says here he's now in Minnesota looking for ass on Tinder. So be careful. Be careful. I don't know about that eating octopus, Josh.
I'm a pretty adventurous eater.
Yes.
I will not eat genitalia. I'll pass on insects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go for somewhat live octopus.
No, I'm going to pass on that too.
They got those little suction cups. They'll grab onto your windpipe, and then that's all she wrote.
Even the photos that they show you of the octopus on the plate and stuff like that, I could not eat it. It looks like slime and snot.
It does. Looks like somebody sneezed on your plate.
Yeah, I don't know how that looks appealing.
Horrible. What about a bullfrog, Cubby?
I'd try a bullfrog.
Oh!
Wouldn't you guys?
No.
No?
No.
Well, not after they just listed it as one of the world's most dangerous foods. I'm not eating a bullfrog.
Right. I'm just saying if it wasn't dangerous to eat, I would try a bullfrog.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm not going to risk a puffer fish or something like that.
Yeah, of all the animals on the list, I guess I'd go for bullfrog.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
That was just in my head, of course.
Was a good... Name the band. Go!
That's the Muppets.
651-989-9393. Start your message with Nick. Jeremiah was a stinking bullfrog.
I got it. 3 dog... Something about dog... Is it 3 Dog Night? Okay, I'm close. Is that all it is? 3 Dog Night?
3 Dog Night. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. I heard stories that the lead singer of that group, I don't know, is he still with us? He was a famous guy. What the hell's his name? The lead singer of 3 Dog Night.
Chuck...
There it is.
Lorre?
Something like that.
It's not Chuck Lorre.
Well, whatever. It was Chuck.
Negron?
Yeah.
Chuck Negron.
There you go. Is he still alive?
Let me click on his little link. Yeah, he's still kicking.
Is he
How
really?
old is he? 81 years old.
I'm sorry, what?
81 years old.
See, I heard stories that you can take Ozzy Osbourne's drug use, Keith Richards' drug use, Metallica's drinking. You take Def Leppard's drinking, add it all up, and you ain't jack squat to what that Chuck from Three Dog Night could do in about 12 hours back in the 70s. That he was just woo-wee.
Wasn't he on Intervention?
I don't know.
Or one of those shows?
Never saw it. Old Chuck.
Oh, I thought you used to watch that.
Intervention?
Yeah.
It doesn't ring a bell.
The show doesn't, or watching it doesn't? I'm confused.
Either one. I don't recall watching the show or the show itself. But, you know, I lose things sometimes, Josh. I lose.
It looks like he was on Intervention. In an episode in 2006.
I swear we even played a clip from that back in the day.
I hear
that show was
guy.
big for a while.
It was.
Yeah, that show was very depressing. It would suck you in, and then you're like, I've watched 3 episodes, and I feel really horrible.
Were you just waiting to see yourself on an episode, Wapple?
For chronic masturbation.
Did you ever have an intervention, or did your folks ever threaten one or anything?
No.
Nothing like that.
No, it was just got caught at school, and they're like, find a new school or go to treatment. I said, go to treatment.
Let me tell you something. I'm sure it works for some people, and great that it does. My dad had to go to an intervention for one of his buddies 30 years ago, and he said it was one of the worst experiences of his life.
I bet.
It played out exactly like you see it on television. His buddy walks in, you know, totally clueless. There's the family and my dad and a couple other guys, and he turned on every single one of them. You son of a... He walks up to my dad. You call yourself a friend? He said it was just horrible.
That'd be my fear, is that the person would just freak out, be all super pissed.
Or they're there for like a drinking habit and you drink too. Like, wouldn't you feel kind of hypocritical?
Yeah, you pre-gamed?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to a certain level, I guess, Wapple. I mean, if the sumbitch is killing a liter of hooch a night and I'm just having 2-3 beer, I wouldn't feel like I was being hypocrite, you know. All right. 3 Dog Night. Someone tells me they were just at the State Theater. We missed that, John.
Oh, really?
But I hear that
Chuck
guy. I don't know. I hear Chuck, when he watched that final scene in Scarface, he was giggling, just saying, that's kid stuff. Couple of school teachers have been busted for being prostitutes on the side. Did you guys have any teachers back in the day that were also prostitutes?
At
the Catholic schools I went to, not that I'm aware of.
I suspected a couple of them. I had my suspicions.
There were a couple I wish would have been.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
They were very good looking.
It's terrible.
You know, you're so shallow. Some prostitutes might have great personalities that you want to pay to have sex with.
Just to have a
It's
conversation
not all about
with
looks.
them.
That is terrible. 2 elementary substitute teachers, elementary kids. 2 elementary substitute teachers in Tennessee, who are also a couple, were cited for prostitution after police completed an undercover operation. Well, we've all seen how police conduct an undercover prostitution investigation from watching South Park. That's some rough work.
They are committed to the cause.
That is rough.
That plastic bag.
No, there was never a plastic bag. That never happened. The evidence bag?
Yes.
Never happened.
Now, if you wouldn't mind handing over the $20 for oral sex.
Oh.
Okay. All right, buddy. Here we go. Sorry, I was so quick. Oh, that's all right. Nothing wrong with it. Freeze! You're busted, buddy. I'm a cop. And you're going to jail for soliciting prostitution.
When my brother, he's a police officer, and when he one of the first couple of years, he would do some of those, right? They'd camp out at a hotel, and they'd get some of these johns and prostitutes, and he would always borrow my clothes, as if I look like the type of guy. I mean, you know, that sounded demeaning. As if I just have a look of someone who's picking up prostitutes. Uh-huh. Like somebody looks at me and goes, "Oh, look at that guy's wardrobe. Yeah, he picks up prostitutes."
Yeah. He's one of those.
It always confused me.
All right, these 2 teachers, a 22-year-old and a 25-year-old, were caught by police in August. Pretty young. You're already a school teacher? I don't know how those things work.
Oh, that's about right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I suppose when I was in high school, yeah, I remember we had a couple teachers who were 22, 23. Yeah, okay.
Those were the popular ones for the reasons Dana mentioned.
Yeah.
Police began the undercover sting when one officer reached out to one of these young kids on what they call here an illicit prostitution website. The cop was posing as a John, looking to set up a sexual encounter. Apparently, $150 was the going price for some hot action. It's not bad.
No, it's a good deal.
The two kids, 22 and 25, the two teachers who got busted, they both made statements after they were arrested that they have to do this on the side or they will starve. That's very dramatic. And the two individuals also had drugs and guns and such on them when they got caught. I love that audio from South Park. That's great.
Freeze!
Man. Surprised the hell out of them. He did. They had no idea. This is a drag. A couple folks in Colombia had sex at an office. Co-workers, maybe. They tried to keep it a secret, it seemed to me, by folding each other in half in a bathroom at the office. But it's a tricky deal here. Because of the lighting in the bathroom and the type of glass windows used in the John that they were banging in, it made for a perfect silhouette of the two of them to be seen clearly by anybody who was nearby.
Ooh, that sucks.
And the window faced the street, and so anybody walking down the sidewalk could see that
it was very clear what was going on.
Dude was delivering the goods in what a lot of folks, I think, call the doggy style position.
Yeah, where they could both watch the same television show at the same time.
Yeah, bingo. Stand-up doggy. Stand-up dog ski. And then, of course, some prick on the street spotted them and had to record them and spread it all up and down the godless internet. Can't we just mind our business once or twice? In the video clip, jealous dorks who should have minded their own business are on the street pointing at the couple.
Oh, don't do that.
You know, look, people having sex. I mean, that sucks.
Hey, I'm just trying to have some somewhat public sex here. Mind your business.
I mean, maybe they knew they were putting on a show. Hell, I don't know. But the story says they ran on out of there when they found out folks were watching. So that leads me to believe that they didn't know that they were. It was that. I wouldldn't know by looking.
If they worked there, they'd know, right?
What's that?
If they worked there, they would definitely know. I'm sure you've seen a silhouette there before. If you're familiar with the building.
I didn't consider that.
Because I'd imagine if that happened here, we would be camped outside of that window. I've seen that at a hotel. It was confusing.
It says here in Colombia, anyone caught performing sexual acts that cause discomfort in the community can be fined. I had this kind of a thing happen to me once. Here's the deal. I was living in a townhouse, and I was too lazy to go get real blinds, for my windows. So I just hung a sheet over the bedroom window. And one night, this gal and I were tearing each other to pieces. And I heard from across the street, I can't imitate it, I'll do my best, but I heard from across the street a neighbor go, I can't quite, you see where I'm, big fat wolf whistle from across the street. And what dawned on me is that she and I, with the lighting in my bedroom, were casting a perfect silhouette as to what we were doing to each other on that sheet, that white sheet.
That wouldn't have even crossed my mind.
What wouldn't have crossed your mind?
That was happening.
Well, me neither until I heard the guy from across the...
Like, oh, that makes sense. Yep, oops. Did you go get some blinds after that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, somewhat shortly after that. My buddy Joey. Josh knows Joey. Very handy. He came over and helped me hang some. This here gal in Houston, Texas might never get a good night's sleep ever again. And nobody could blame her. Some lunatic broke into her apartment. He trashed every damn thing she owns. And then he put on a pair of her panties. And then he left. This poor gal is named Alana Mitchell. She was only gone for a few hours, but that was all some puke bag needed to ruin. I mean, this dude completely destroyed everything that she owns. When she got back to her place, it was absolutely boned. all of her food, all of her appliances, everything had been thrown around and destroyed like a damn tornado would come through. So, if she wasn't already pissed off and creeped out enough, she saw that the intruder made an outfit change while he was there. He left behind his clothes, including his greasy-ass dirty drawers on her floor.
Yeah.
And she noticed that the dude had put on the underwears and T-shirt that she had worn to bed the night before. The shirt that he left behind was a hospital shirt, so this dude might have cut himself loose from the mental institution or something like that. After the dude left her place, her neighbor's Ring camera thingy thing recorded the dude running around the apartment complex, knocking on doors while wearing her panties.
Oh.
So he was trying to get into somebody else's place. A little pair of ladies' panties on.
It's a little unsettling.
Police are still investigating this nightmare, Josh. They are.
As they should.
Well, it was. I mean, if he did take her undies, it was nice for him to leave his pair behind. So at least she had a pair there.
Like a leave a penny, take a penny type of deal?
Yeah, exactly.
How many
leave
pairs,
a panty, take a panty?
How many pairs of thick industrial gloves do you put on before you pick up that guy's drawers?
At least 3.
I mean, are you kidding me? I'll get my COVID mask out again. You know what I'm talking about? I'll get out the COVID mask. We're going to pick up this guy's drawers. Bacon stripe about 8 inches long in the back of those.
I've never heard it called a bacon stripe.
No, really? Oh, my dad's always called it that. My dad and mom.
Ah, yuck! You know he striped those sumbitches.
Yeah. Gosh, you just took me back to my childhood.
You get out an old drum, like you see the folks singing doo-wop songs in front of in the 50s. What do you call that, Josh?
Firing barrel?
A big fire barrel. And you throw them in there, you dump half a gallon of gasoline, you light it. We have time for this last one, Josh?
Why not? Yeah, go for it.
Oh, God. Love is a mysterious old bitch, isn't it, Josh?
It can be. It sure can be.
Love is a mysterious old...
I haven't figured it out yet. It's a mystery.
No, we all are. We're still working on it. You never know how or when you might meet your true love. Some folks find love on a street corner. Some find love at a truck stop. Some at a bar. Some on dating websites. Some find love laid out drunk on their couch. Some gal hopped up on social media. She upped and told all the dorks there that she met her future husband after calling the cops on his ass. So here's the deal. She goes by the name of Catherine Johnstone. Back in 2016, she came home from a night drinking. She rolled in about 8 o'clock in the morning, and there she sees a complete stranger, a dude, out cold on her couch. She had no effing clue who this guy was. She turned on her cell phone flashlight deal to shine it out on his mug to try and figure out who this jackhole is that's snoring on her couch, probably with a boner. You know how we get those when we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Guy probably had a boner.
I've heard. I've had complaints.
Now, her sister was staying at the place, too, and her sister had left the door unlocked the night before, just so you know.
Nice job.
Right? Well, it was so her sister, the one sister left the door unlocked so the other sister could get in the house. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I didn't have my keys on me. Please leave the door on. Her sister also had no clue who this dude was. So they ran out of there. They were scared. They called the cops. The cops wake the guy up. They escort him out of the building. Catherine, the lead character here, she was asked to check for any missing or broken items, but everything was cool.
Just wanted a little snooze.
But the sisters still agreed to press charges. They were still freaked out by this.
Anyone would be.
Yeah.
The dude by the name of Michael, he was charged with second-degree trespassing. He believed he was crashing on a buddy's couch after a night out. Once Catherine realized it was innocent and he was just a local dummy who had too many beers, she dropped the charges.
Oh, good.
Dude still had to take on 50 hours of community service. I love community service stories. I never did it, but a few of my buddies got in trouble in high school and had to do community service, and the stories were great. Raking a beach. They had to take a big old rake and walk into the water 6 a.m. on a chilly day. Walk into the water up to their necks and then rake backwards to the beach.
That sounds miserable.
Oh. And all they did was make drug deals on the side as well. And this is community service. You know, hey, man, what are you in for? Smoking pot. You want to buy some? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Didn't really straighten anybody out. Anyway, this dude who passed out on the couch, he later returned to this gal's place with a letter and flowers to apologize to her and her entire family.
That's sweet.
That is sweet.
The two of them became...
Although I'd wonder, what's going on?
When's he back?
Is he back to kill me?
Oh, yeah, maybe I would have thought the same thing. But the two of them became friends and then F-buddies. And then after a year, they upped and started dating. In 20 plus 20, he asked her to marry him. She said yes, and now, by damn, they've got one of those little babies, and they've got a dog.
That's a heck of a story. They've got to be, I bet a lot of people don't meet that way. They might be the first. Yeah, you'd definitely be freaked out, Nick, wouldn't you? Somebody breaks into your house, all of a sudden they show up again.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. This Catherine gal says, we can laugh because people can't believe this is how we met and now we're married and have a family. People bring it up all the time. It's a beautiful story and silly because it's so unique. I wouldn't change a thing, and I think it makes our love even stronger. Oh, Christ, settle down. But it is a fun way to get a relationship going. I'll tell you this, it's a lot more fun than pretending to have a new wife just for the sake of a radio bit.
to cover for one of your coworkers' DUIs.
That's right.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
We had a home field for 2 games. 2 games. You let them come here and beat us?
Phillies need to sell Trey Turner. That guy's an idiot. We went farther without that guy. The Phillies, honestly.
Trade the whole team. This team blew. I want to say that I'm depressed.
I hope they never play a baseball game again.
Fire
Topper. Feeling like I want to go lay in traffic.
Let's go Jets. All them bitch-ass motherfuckers that couldn't get a hit when we needed it.
I love how we spent $700 million for guys to go 0 for 12 combined.
Overpaid
That.
I love that. After the Phillies lost Game 7 to Arizona the other night, some guy went out on the sidewalk with a television camera and a live microphone and let these Phillies fans just pop off.
What a difference between how they reacted and how Twins fans reacted when the Twins were eliminated. Remember, everybody's like, hey, thanks for a fun season, you know. We're a little disappointed, obviously, but it was great. We love the guys.
Perfect.
Can't wait till next year.
Perfect that you pointed that out. I mean, Trey Turner is one of the top players in Big League Baseball. How do you think he feels if he watches this video? Some 8th grade kid steps up to the microphone and says, Trey Turner's an effing idiot. I'd want to find that kid and pop him in his friggin' yap. That's great. That's hilarious stuff. Timberwolves. They didn't look quite ready just yet. Timberwolves. They played game 1 of the new NBA season last night, and they just didn't look quite ready. Toronto Raptors beat them by 3. Sloppy. Slow and sloppy. That's how I describe the Wolves' offense last night. They'll get there. I'm sure they'll get there, but it ain't there yet. Home openers on Saturday. The Pigs are going to go ahead and play in Philadelphia tonight. Speaking of Philadelphia, they've got a scheduled matchup with the Flyers tonight at 6:30. You can find the game live on something called ESPN Plus. Does that mean the internet?
Yeah.
Yep. It does.
Stupid-ass internet. I guess I'll be watching Golden Gopher hockey there at home. Then what's with this Thursday, Friday crap? I hate this. But Golden Gopher hockey is at home tonight, 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network versus stupid Wisconsin. That's hilarious. That's dumb.
They're actually going to try, huh?
Who's going to try?
Wisconsin?
Yeah, we'll see.
They're going to give it a shot.
We'll see. Some call it a border battle, Wapple. It's tonight. Randy Shaver will be checking in here in a half hour. Josh's News is next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ritland keeps it real on the Mike Drop podcast. Former Navy SEAL and current CrossFit King Dave Castro.
Is there one thing that you took away from the SEAL community that you apply kind of in your everyday life?
Here's the reality. So getting out was a no-brainer. Financially able to provide for my family much better with CrossFit than I was with the Navy. But if it hadn't been for CrossFit, I for sure would have stayed in for 20. I loved what I did.
Mike Drop. Raw. Unfiltered. Intellectually sound. Wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
There was a girl down there with 5 people, all got shot up.
I never thought I'd grow up and get a bullet in my leg, and it's just like, why? Like, why do people do this?
It's unbelievable. We have our entire force out here right now, plus Lewiston, county, state. I mean, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. You can train for this, but you can never be completely prepared. But I've been talking to a lot of our officers tonight, and we all should be proud of them.
A massive manhunt is underway in Maine after a mass shooting which spanned 2 locations last night and left at least 22 people dead, 30 wounded. Emergency personnel were called to separate shootings, one in a bowling alley, another at a restaurant. 4 hours after initial reports of the shootings in Lewiston, police identified Robert Card, a 40-year-old trained firearms instructor with past mental health issues, as a person of interest. Card reported hearing voices and threatened to shoot up the National Guard base where he was stationed. He was reportedly committed to a mental health facility over the summer before being released after a 2-week stay.
Considered armed and dangerous. If people see him, they should not approach or make contact with him in any way. The shelter-in-place order that currently stands in Lewiston remains. A vehicle, which was a vehicle of interest in this incident, was located in Lisbon, and we are now also asking residents in Lisbon to shelter in place.
The bowling alley, one of 2 locations targeted by the shooter last night, was hosting a children's event at the time of the shooting.
Oh, Jesus.
The gunman killed at least 7 people inside the bowling alley before he continued his deadly rampage 4 miles away at the restaurant. A police spokesperson said he was not aware of any children being among the fatal victims, but said he does know some were wounded.
And here we go again.
I just hate it.
That's awful. The audio of that little girl is heartbreaking.
And again and again and again and again and again.
A Tennessee man's DIY rubber bumper caused a false alarm bomb threat, leading to local businesses closing and nearby schools being sent into lockdown. Police were called to a restaurant Tuesday morning about a bomb being strapped to a car in the parking lot of a cafe. When officers arrived, they found 2 white cloths duct taped to the passenger side of a gray sedan with wires running out around the front door handle. Police said all businesses in the shopping plaza were evacuated for nearly 2 hours as a precaution.
They had told us that there was a bomb threat, basically screamed at us to get out of the building. The door handles looked taped around it, not something you would normally see every day.
In addition, all schools within 5 miles from the scene were placed on lockdown after investigators looked into an address connected to the car's license plate. A police supervisor then contacted the car's owner, who was actually standing on the other side of the street with the other evacuees, unaware that his car prompted the massive emergency response.
Eventually, he answered his phone right across the street, standing in the parking lot for 2 hours, thinking there's a bomb threat when it's his vehicle that's causing all this alarm.
The car's owner allegedly told police he attached the rubber bumper to his vehicle, connecting the wires to a suction cup, which was attached to the inside door handle to prevent dents. A police spokesman didn't seem too excited about what had happened.
We had a massive response to this location to find out it was a man that's trying to prevent his car from being dented.
The school's lockdowns were lifted after the Tennessee Highway Special Operations Unit gave the all clear. No charges were filed against the car's owner, as police said there was no intent to cause harm.
That's so good that he was just standing there with everybody else for 2 hours.
I wonder what's going on.
La-di-da-di-da.
What a-hole caused all this?
Boy, I wish I could get back to my car and get on with my life.
What a mess.
In other mistaken bomb threats, in recent news, you may remember we talked about earlier this month an international flight to Florida that had to be redirected after a passenger mistook an adult diaper inside a black plastic bag for a bomb.
Big turd in there, I bet.
Yeah. A 12-year-old responsible for emailing 7 bomb threats to Maryland schools this month knew that a state law would prevent authorities from bringing charges. Montgomery County Police Chief Marcus Jones said in the state of Maryland, children younger than 13 can only be charged with offenses that constitute a crime of violence. a new law that was enacted last year, and apparently the twerp knew it.
They didn't want to go to school that day. They wanted to get out of school early that day. Stop. If you want to go play games, go play a video game, but don't play with people's lives.
A police spokesperson confirmed the child knew no charges could be brought against him for the threats. Detectives spoke with the suspect, who admitted to emailing the threats to Montgomery Blair High School on several days, as well as recently as Monday and Tuesday. He also admitted to being behind separate email bomb threats to a different school. It's disheartening to accept the individual responsible for disrupting the educational process and instilling fear in our community, as well as he's aware of the legal limitations surrounding their age, Jones said. They understood they could not be charged under current Maryland statutes. Jones also called the threats reckless and dangerous. It noted the significant financial and operational burden they had on his department.
Calling in these prank calls, you possibly have just cost somebody else maybe their lives because they have a real 911 emergency.
Dispatching officers and K-9 units to investigate these threats, especially when our resources are already stretched thin, diverting our personnel away from other pressing calls for service. This diversion of resources is unacceptable, and it jeopardizes the safety of our community, he said. The suspect was identified with the assistance from the IT staff at the school district.
Tell you what, if that's my 12-year-old, he's not living at my house anymore.
He'd be in some serious trouble, that's for sure.
Go live with your grandma.
Just a punk. Like, what are you going to do? I know you can't do anything about it.
Don't call me anymore. Call your grandma.
A school was placed on lockdown after a handgun was found on school grounds in New Hope yesterday. Officers were called to the North Education Center about 9 a.m. on a report of a weapon. The school was placed on lockdown as officers located the handgun outside the building on school property, and a juvenile suspect was taken into custody. An investigation is ongoing. And for the third time this month, a gun was found at Roseville Area High School. In Tuesday's case, school staff received a report about 1 p.m. A gun was on campus. The school worked with Roseville police to conduct a search. The gun was found, and the student is facing disciplinary action up to and including expulsion.
Parents, teach your children at home. This is totally unacceptable. We're not going to tolerate it. You're going to be expelled from the school. We want nothing to do with it because it's a zero-tolerance policy.
As a precaution, students and staff were told to stay in their classrooms. In the previous incident, September 25th, a handgun was found in a 17-year-old's backpack at the school. Then, that afternoon, in an unrelated case, a 16-year-old student was discovered with a gun. Prosecutors have charged both of those students.
Take your medicine.
Penn State, who until now has never had a sex scandal, has found themselves in the center of one.
What the hell?
Authorities... What, am I misremembering?
There's something. We'll fill you in after the show.
Yeah, they've never had a sex scandal.
No.
Authorities at Pennsylvania State University arrested a man accused of recording women who were showering in a dorm at the university earlier this month. 8:26 p.m., October 7th. The first female victim was showering on the third floor of Hamilton Hall when she noticed a person standing next to the stall she was in. She saw a cell phone above the top. The phone went away and then came back up. The person started to run. The victim stated the suspect ran out of the bathroom and down the hallway. Surveillance cameras apparently captured the 24-year-old suspect entering the hall by piggybacking or following behind students with lawful entry into the building.
Sure.
A week later, October 14th, 9:30 p.m., a second female victim was showering on the third floor of Hamilton Hall when she noticed a phone poking out from the bottom of the stall she was in. Surveillance cameras again captured that same suspect. Turns out the man's connection to the college is he owns a company that is a delivery, moving, and storage service for college students. What a prick.
Man.
Yeah, that ain't right.
A Marion County, Florida deputy was suspended after investigators found she used a database to identify the owner of a vehicle spotted outside of her ex-boyfriend's home in a relationship she just couldn't let go of. Investigators said the deputy had driven by her ex's home that night, finding another vehicle outside the house. According to an investigative report, she and the man had been in an on- and off-again relationship, which lasted from February of last year until early this year, when the man told her he needed some time to think about the relationship, which included the fact that he had met someone else at work. After driving by her ex-boyfriend's home that night, the deputy texted him.
According to the investigation, the ex-boyfriend then started getting several text messages from the deputy saying she hoped he and the woman were enjoying themselves and that it was foolish to believe they could continue their relationship.
It was later determined she had run the license plate of the car in front of the home. When asked whether she had done so, she told investigators, "Did I run her tag? 100% I did." She also said she ran license plates to find out who the other people at the house were, explaining that the ex-boyfriend was supposed to be working on their relationship, but it appeared he was seeing someone else. The same deputy was investigated earlier this year after getting into a fight at a house party while off duty, though it was eventually discovered she had been defending herself. However, an administrative review shows she hadn't notified her superiors about the incident, instead asking her ex-boyfriend to try and take down any videos of the fight on social media. The sheriff's office said she was suspended for a day for misusing an electronic database and for 2 days for not reporting that fight. A Salt Lake City man is accused of attacking a skateboarder with a machete because he allegedly thought the skateboarder was a fish.
No, I can see how that mistake can be made.
According to police, the man had been skateboarding on a sidewalk just before 1 a.m. yesterday. As he passed 23-year-old Ryan Davis, Davis produced a large machete and swung it at the victim, striking him on the left forearm. When questioned about the assault, Davis allegedly stated he was attempting to cause the victim harm because he thought the victim was a skateboarding fish.
Perfectly normal.
Maybe he thought he was Christian Hakoi. Steve Crabalero.
Dude.
Chad Muskie. In any case, Davis is no stranger to police, as he has several charges from various incidents this year alone. How high do you have to be to think there's a fish on a skateboard?
Yeah, pretty high.
Is that good or bad stuff?
Bad in my mind. I don't want that.
I would think that's some good stuff.
That's what we're going for, Josh. That's what we're going for.
That's what you want to see?
goal?
Yeah, just got to have a buddy keeping you out of trouble.
Yeah, you need a babysitter.
A Florida woman found herself behind bars after allegedly pushing an old woman to the ground amid a heated argument about hot water. Jennifer Meredith was arrested and charged with domestic battery on a person 65 or older after the incident that unfolded Monday. A witness told deputies they saw an elderly lady pushed to the ground by another female. When they arrived at the scene, officers made contact with Meredith, who said she and the elderly woman were in an argument over water because they're on a boil notice, and the victim continued to drink the water without boiling it.
Come on.
She also reportedly grabbed her water cup and threw it across the yard so the victim couldn't drink it, because she's concerned about her health and safety. When the elderly woman went to pick the cup off the ground, Meredith allegedly came over to her and started to hit her before pushing her. Deputies said they saw a cut on the woman's hand and bruising where she was punched, consistent with her side of the story.
There was a fish there, too. At least I saw a fish.
Right there in the cup.
Yeah, there was a fish.
A man was arrested after he allegedly hit another man in the face with a hatchet over a fight about spilled beer.
Ooh.
Police were called to an inn on Monday for a report of an armed disturbance. Deputies said 56-year-old Danny Tharp accused the victim of spilling a beer. He allegedly then grabbed a hatchet and began swinging wildly toward the victim, striking him several times.
Oh, boy.
Luckily, the victim was able to escape and find deputies. Deputies found Tharp shortly thereafter and placed him under arrest.
Tharp? He's under arrest?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's been a bad boy, and he should stop that immediately. A Missouri man's charged with attacking another man with a sickle. There's some unusual weapons in the news today.
Yeah, no kidding.
According to court documents, 43-year-old Todd Baker entered a home 2 a.m. Sunday morning with the intention of making the victim leave. As the victim sat in a chair, Baker allegedly attacked him with a sickle, striking his head, arms, and body. He suffered several injuries, as you'd expect. Baker was arrested following the odd attack. A jewelry store customer in New York was trapped in a locked Diamond District safe room for about 10 hours overnight, only freed when the doors, on a timer, popped open. The 23-year-old man became locked inside the secure room inside 580 Fifth Avenue, which houses multiple small jewelry stores and vaults. This happened just after 8 p.m. Tuesday. He was checking his safety deposit box when the door to the room was locked from the outside, trapping him in a 20 by 40-foot space. The room was set on a timer mechanism, not scheduled to reopen until the start of business the next morning.
Started to breach the wall at the vault, about 30 inches or so of concrete. We got to the point where we got to the metal plating. The problem with the plating is we'd have to use our torches on there, which would infect the environment of that person inside the vault.
They tried for 10 hours to reach him, but weren't able to.
10 hours?
It unlocked about 6:15 a.m., freeing the man. Officials said he's being evaluated, but appears to be okay. They were talking to the man on a phone the entire time and had surveillance video showing him walking in. Wasn't doing anything wrong, just nobody knew he was in there.
Right.
And locked his ass in there. American Horror Stories is celebrating the spooky season with a Huluween event, which will include 4 new episodes of Ryan Murphy's spin-off anthology series. Unlike American Horror Story, this anthology series features a new horror story in each episode. The American Horror Stories 3rd season premiere airs today on FX and Hulu.
You know what's been throwing me lately, Josh? I turn on my television and I see a program called Creep Show, and I think it's the old movie from 1982 with Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson and all the great bits involved in the 1982 Creep Show, but it's some wacky series that I've never heard of.
Yeah, the series. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
It's on my list.
Never heard of it.
By the way, Dylan McDermott, who plays Dr. Ben Harmon in both series, is 62 today, and that makes absolutely no sense. I have no idea how. If you guys know who I'm talking about?
No.
Look him up and tell me he doesn't look 48.
Dylan McDermott?
Yes. It doesn't make any sense. Thursday Night Football on Prime tonight features a matchup between the Bills and Buccaneers. Jimmy Fallon has Tracy Morgan. Tiffany Haddish on Jimmy Kimmel. Stephen Colbert has Keegan-Michael Key. And Morgan Freeman will join Seth Meyers.
All right, Cubby, I pulled up Dylan McDermott on my computer, and hell no, I would never guess that man is 62 years old.
I wouldn't even think he was 50 yet.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
That's insane. The amount of hair he's gotten on his head.
Yeah, look how handsome he is. Not one wrinkle.
No?
North of the border, I mean. Maybe down south. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Check it out.
I'm just saying. John Heater, a.k.a. Napoleon Dynamite, 46. Family Guy creator and Captain Mercer on the Orville. Seth MacFarlane, 50. Carrie Elways, the man in black from The Princess Bride, who also sawed off his own foot in the original Saw movie, is 61. And Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak, 77. That's another guy that nowhere near looks his age.
No.
Today's Antique Snowmobile Jesus is Friday. He's headed out to Camp Ripley tonight to try and bag a monster buck with the bow this weekend.
Fun.
Congratulations to Only Poops While Punched In Jesus. He let us know he's 18 months clean and serene today. Congratulations.
Hey, that's awesome.
Also, the same to Gypsy Jesus. As of yesterday, he marks 5 years booze-free. Happy birthday to the Truckin' Kitty Cat from north of sexy Quamba Jesus. Am I pronouncing Quamba right?
As far as I know.
Minnesota.
Maybe.
Quamba?
Up by Mora, I think.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, if I mispronounced that, I apologize. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
If you see him, do not approach him. He is considered extremely dangerous. His depravity knows no bounds. I mean, this is someone who has nothing to lose, so I don't know what he's capable of doing.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
He played amazing for the first game. I remember my first game, I was nervous. He didn't seem like being nervous, so he played amazing. Sorry.
It's the first game. We're getting back into it.
I'm tired.
Come on now. Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us here on the radio show. Randy Shaver is on board. Hey, dude.
Good morning.
What was that now? Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks dumped an F-bomb on an ESPN reporter.
Got a little too comfortable at the end of that.
That was
It's
after
the start of the season.
Yeah, they're just getting started with the season. The Dallas Mavericks played the San Antonio Spurs last night. Doncic had 33 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. That's messing around and getting a triple-double.
Yes, it is.
He was asked about the play of a rookie teammate named Derek Lively Part 2. Drafted number 12 overall by the Mavericks this offseason. I hadn't heard of Derek Lively II. But the kid got up to 16 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he kind of outplayed Wembanyama last night a little bit.
Here's the deal with that Wembanyama. See, on the same game that Doncic was talking about, Victor Wembanyama played
Wembanyama?
Jesus. He played his first NBA game, Wembanyama.
Right.
I watched some of it. And this isn't fair, only watching about 10% of his first game, but I don't see it. I don't see what everyone's so excited about.
Well, certainly when you're that size and you're able to move like he can, and you're skilled enough like he is, there's so much potential. I think that's what everybody sees.
All right. Again, it's not fair. I watched 10% of his first game, but he looked slow and a little overwhelmed to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was his first NBA game.
Right.
Just saying now. That's all I'm doing. The Wolves never win in Ontario.
They haven't won there since I was 5 years old.
Yep. Randy was just a little kid in
Yep.
Cedar
I was just
Rapids.
a tyke.
I'm telling you what, they haven't won there in 20 years or something ridiculous like that. Last night's season opener for my Timberwolves was a sloppy mess at times.
Yes.
And the fellas lost by 3 to the Toronto Raptors. She ended up 97-94. Toronto isn't bad.
No, they're not bad. They're not great. They're okay. I mean, I watched them in watching the game last night. I wish Siakam's tremendous. Did not have a great shooting night last night, but very, very skilled player. They just play well together, and I think Schroeder's going to help them be a really good team. Mm-hmm. If Schroeder stays healthy, he's sneaky good.
He had a great night.
Yeah. They've got a great bench. I would say that's the secret to their team is that, Achua and Flynn, Gary Trent Jr. did not shoot well last night, but they've got a pretty decent bench. They're gonna be decent.
It's funny,
which is why last night was disappointing because I think that's a team the Wolves should beat on a pretty regular basis.
Anthony Edwards had 26 and 14. Rudy and
did
Carl
not shoot well.
Not a high percentage. No. Rudy and Carl had decent games, but overall they just weren't smooth at all on offense, and they especially forgot how important three-point baskets are in today's game.
Yeah.
And Toronto's running their fast break like they're the damn 1984 LA Lakers against the Wolves.
Showtime, yeah. I think the coach described them as sticky. That was the offense.
The ball got
too
sticky. That's right.
Didn't move the ball around very much, or at least like they're capable of doing. Edwards, after the game, took the blame, said, I've got to be better. I will be better. But you know what? That's the kind of conversation we heard last year. And for it to be the first game of the year and to hear the same thing again is a little disheartening.
All right, so how long has it been since the Wolves won in Toronto?
I think
January,
right?
Well, this is what I have in front of me. January 21st, 2004 was the last time the Wolves won there. Sam Cassell, KG, and Latrell Sprewell were the Wolves' leading scorers. And you mentioned Gary Trent Jr. The last time the Wolves beat Toronto, Gary Trent Sr. was playing for the Wolves. And now his kid, Gary Jr., scored 5 points off the bench for the Raptors last night.
Yeah.
Toronto was 14 for 35 from the three-point line. The Wolves were 8 of 31 or something close to that. That's not going to cut it any night in today's NBA.
Well, their overall shooting was just 34%.
Right.
So there was not a good shooting night for the Wolves. There was a lot of things that to me, defensively, they played decent enough to win the game defensively last night.
Absolutely.
Play better for sure. But they just did not shoot the ball well. They didn't move the ball well. It was disappointing to lose that.
Just getting started, just like Victor Wembanyama. They're just getting started. But last night they looked like they could use a few more practices. They play the home opener against the Miami Heat on Saturday night.
Oh, Buckets is in town.
Jimmy Bottles.
Sweet.
Jimmy Buckets.
Can't wait to see his hairstyle.
Yeah.
Come on, Randy. Dump your favorite nickname for Jimmy Bottles on us.
No, I'm not doing that.
Why don't you want to do that?
I'm not saying that. I've changed my ways.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
So who wants it?
What's up, Twin Cities? This is General Soreness. You're listening to the half-ass morning show on 93X.
So
I'm
good.
not going to call him General Soreness.
General effing Soreness. Now, I was very happy to be back watching real Timberwolves games last night. As I was telling you yesterday, I'm very excited and especially love Michael Grady and Jim Peterson calling these games. And I'm pissed off at myself that I somehow missed this. According to a listener, the Toronto Raptors have a bench player by the name of Brady Dick.
They do.
Okay? I saw him wandering around the court during a timeout. I don't think I saw the kid actually play. I wish I would have been.
He didn't play many minutes last night.
Okay. Someone, whether it be Grady or Jim Peterson, made a joke last night noting that this Brady dick had a lot of fans in the stands. One of them said, according to one of our listeners, there's a lot of dickheads in the stands tonight.
Perfect.
I missed that. That's
I can't preview this. This might be it. But don't be mad at me if it's not.
I ain't mad at you.
$42 million deal in the offseason. And another player that can stretch the floor in Reed. Brady Dick enters for Gary Trent Jr.
That doesn't look like it.
Well, that's not Jim Peterson and Michael Grady.
Right away. No. Yeah, I was hoping that they'd have a little montage.
Clinic Cop Jesus texted that in. I'm sorry I missed it. So people are telling me it's Grady Dick?
Yeah, it's Grady.
Not Brady. Okay, fair enough. I'll get used to it.
You're just associating the word dick with Tom Brady, I think is what you're doing.
That might be it.
Yes.
A little subconscious play there, or however you say it. Unconscious, subconscious. Now, there's a website here in town, Randy Shaver, called Bring Me the News. I heard that they hate our radio show over there. Not that they're alone. But I hear that they hate us.
Why would they hate you?
Don't know. Never met anybody from Bring Me the News, but I just hear that they hate our guts.
I think you're making that up.
I'm telling you what I heard. I'm not stating it as fact. I'm just telling you what I heard. You ever heard of those kind of conversations, Randy? You kind of discuss rumors and things like that. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't think they hate you.
They put together something here called 5 Bold Predictions for the upcoming Timberwolves season.
Okay.
They say buckle in for a long season because these Timberwolves will be playing all the way to the end. Here are their 5 bold predictions. The Wolves will earn the #1 seed in the Western Conference.
No.
Okay. Calm down.
You can stop reading it now.
They will be a top 5 defensive team.
You can stop reading it now.
Naz Reid will win the 6th Man of the Year.
That one is possible, I suppose.
Karl Anthony Towns will be traded after the season. And their 5th of their 5 bold predictions, when they're not busy hating our guts, they came up with this. The Timberwolves will defeat the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Maybe I'm okay with them hating us now.
I love that website. I hope they don't.
No, I don't think they do.
And you guys thought I was a sucker for the Wolves.
Yeah. We'll pass them.
I hope everything that they said comes true. Those are bold. I mean, bold's an understatement.
Yeah.
But now I'm even more excited to see if it all plays out. #1 seed in the West. They win the whole friggin' pig. They beat the Greek Freak and Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton and the Milwaukee Bucks in the final. I would cry like a child.
Of course you would.
I would drop to my knees and cry. And it would only be Cubby's embrace that would shake me out of it.
Is that the next team you want to see win a championship?
Oh, without a doubt.
By far? More so than the Twins even?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
By far, and I've had that feeling for years and years and years. Absolutely, that's the next local team that I want to see win a title. Take your stupid Super Bowl, flush it down the toilet, take the Stanley Cup, throw it down a hill, take the World Series trophy, shine that sumbitch up real nice, turn it sideways, shove it up your candy ass. I want to see the Wolves win an NBA championship. Yeah, what day is it today? Thursday? On Monday, we covered this real quick. The Timberwolves announced that they signed pimp-ass Jaden McDaniels to a 5-year deal worth $136 million. You know where he went to celebrate? Because I'll tell you. Randy Shaver, you know where he went to celebrate?
He probably went to Perkins.
Olive Garden.
Yep.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
And he says they gave him free breadsticks.
Wow.
Crazy.
Olive Garden made the list, didn't it, everybody?
It did, and it shouldn't be on the list.
Randy Shaver, when's the last time you went on a first date?
Like within the last 10 years?
You know what? Every date I go on's a first date because I can't remember the last one.
Where did I put this? So here it is. We talked about this earlier. This kind of threw a few of us. Maybe it'll throw you too. apparently, the list of places that women are interested in going on a first date is down to about nothing. The internet went mental last night before. I don't know. I don't follow such things. Social media dorks were arguing back and forth. Apparently, women came up with a list of 28 different places that they no longer think are worthy of a first date. Got to come up with something new. You got to come up with something fresh.
Ashley can probably respond to this.
Yeah, I have said already that I think the list is just bull.
See, there's
one or two on there that make sense.
Yes.
The rest are frustrating.
That's the good news, is to hear Ashley say something like what she just said. This list is garbage. And many other women are on social media saying this is ridiculous, but this is what popped up and has everyone hollering at each other back and forth. The list of places that women say no longer good enough for a first date. And Olive Garden, that we just mentioned, made the list. Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden. They no longer want to go see the movies anymore with you, Randy Shaver. They don't want to go sit through a movie.
Huh.
Do you remember a movie when you were a kid you took a date to?
Gosh, that was the place, man.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying. A lot of these, it's been a long time for me too, but a lot of these were your go-tos. This is what you did.
Yeah, the old staples.
It's actually all that you could do.
I mean, some of them, like we mentioned, Cheesecake Factory and Olive Garden, that's when you were really classing it up.
Oh, yeah. You got some extra money from your parents or something.
That's where you went before school dances, like prom and homecoming.
You went where before school dances, prom, and homecoming?
To like the Olive Garden or Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a big deal. That's like, you saved up.
Yeah.
Randy Shaver, what was the movie you took a date to in high school where all you did was just explore each other's bodies up and down?
Oh, gosh, I couldn't tell you. It didn't really matter what the movie was.
It didn't, did it?
No.
All right,
what was that in Seinfeld? There was Schindler's List. And his parents disowned him because of that.
Let me just, for Randy's sake, and for listeners who didn't hear us have this conversation earlier, let me just blow through all the restaurants and whatnot that apparently women don't want to go to anymore. And then I'll get to some other of the ones we actually agree with. So they say, any fast food chain, no. Buffalo Wild Wings, no. No to Wingstop, Red Lobster, any buffet, IHOP, Denny's, Starbucks. Sorry, I took too big of a hit.
Randy, this is coming from Insomniac Jesus Not Me. He wants to know, didn't you take your first date to a silent film?
Oh.
just the piano player in the background?
Really?
You know where else they don't want to go on dates anymore, Randy? The Waffle House.
What?
Right. But here are some that we sort of agreed with because it seems odd. You don't ask a first date, and I mean, again, and we want to be clear about this. This isn't a hookup. This isn't a F-buddy. This is a first date. You want to get to know them and all that boring stuff and maybe eventually throw your life away and date them or marry them. Some of these we agree with. You don't take a first date. You don't ask them to come to your house. Why don't you just come on over to my house?
Alone.
No, you don't. You don't ask a first date to go to the gym. We found that very odd when we were talking about that earlier.
I would never do
meet
that.
me at the gym. I'm working on my legs.
Well, I mean, maybe that's how you start your relationship. Maybe you know what I mean? Maybe that's not really a date. You're just...
What?
I don't know.
Like you meet them at the gym first?
Yeah.
That's like your first acquaintance?
Oh, that's silly. It's silly regardless. Unless you're insane, you don't ask your date to meet you at church.
Well, like I said, that was my parents' first date. It worked out for them.
There's a lot of people that met for the first time at church.
They were different, your folks.
Book collector Jesus said he asked his wife to marry him in an Olive Garden. This list and whoever wrote it can kiss his arse, he says.
You don't ask him to go bowling. You don't ask him to go to a nightclub. You don't ask him to go to a hookah bar. You don't ask him. These are the two that threw me because I always thought of these as just 100% normal. They don't want to be asked to go to a ball game anymore.
Oh.
It's just outrageous.
You know what? And shoot, it's killing me. There's a woman that texted in earlier. I'm sorry I don't remember the name. She brought up a good point. It's probably because of how long a game can be, and if things aren't going well, you don't have an out.
Oh.
And I thought that's why coffee was so popular because you can get out quick.
Oh, right. They don't want to go on coffee dates anymore. And I suppose you're right about a ball game.
She was dead on. I didn't consider that.
I mean, some folks have the balls to just stand up and walk away. Others don't. So I get that.
Well, time for the first inning stretch. I'll be right back.
Right. The one that threw me the most was I thought, this is just so perfect, I think, for any first date. Dinner, forget it. They don't want to go to a bar for a couple of drinks. I think that's perfect. You sit down, you have a couple of drinks. You don't got to be there all night. If you don't like each other, you ask for the tab. But apparently that's not good enough anymore. But again, the good news is there are a lot of women who are disagreeing with this on godless social media.
I also noticed that the video arcade was not on that list.
Well, it's just so ridiculous.
This list is for adults.
This is not junior high.
I was telling Dana, though, is that like it seems like that's the kind of stuff like women want to do. Is like something
that
don't. Includes an activity like that
They
that
don't
you can
want to
do
go
together.
play video games at the arcade.
I don't know, man.
It depends on the person, though. I mean, we're making generalities, but it depends on the person.
I've never made a generality in my life.
Maybe that's what they're interested in.
Randy Shaver, you line up 10 women, 9 of them are going to say, no, I'm not meeting you at the arcade to play Galaga. Grown folks we're talking about, Randy. What time's your mom dropping you off? About 7. Oh, my mom will drop me off about 7, too.
I mentioned earlier my first date with my wife was at a Chipotle.
That's cool.
And that's why Randy, you might remember, that's why we had it at our wedding reception. For the same reason.
That's cute.
Which is great because sometimes she'll want to relive that first date for an anniversary, and she wants to go to Chipotle. I was all lined up to go to the Olive Garden or Cheesecake Factory.
That's so smart, Josh. You played the long game.
Well, I got lucky on that. I didn't even consider it.
One of my first, I shouldn't say that. Well, that's not what I meant to say. One of my strangest experiences on a first date, and I got a few of them, but this one comes to mind because earlier I noted, and I'll note again here, that concerts didn't come up on this apparent list of places women don't want to go anymore on a first date. Yeah. I went to one concert where it ended up kind of awkward. I had very little interest in either of these bands, but I went along with it just because this gal was smoking hot and she was a gymnast. The bands were Stone Temple Pilot, who I never was crazy about,
I enjoyed them.
Followed by 9 Inch Nails, who I never gave 2 pumps about.
They're good in concert.
So we got there right as the Pilots were wrapping up their boring set. And then up comes 9 Inch Nails, right? And I didn't know much about them except I'd heard a few of their songs and didn't like it. And a video screen drops down behind the band. This was in the early days of bands showing movies in the background. This has become a thing now. A lot of bands drop a screen back there and show you different images. So 9 Inch Nails starts, and I'm sitting next to this gal. We had a suite, so we didn't need to have to stand with the mere mortals. We had a suite. And I'm sitting next to her, and if anyone's been to a 9 Inch Nails show, while they're playing these creepy songs, there's all kinds of creepy imagery.
Yeah, it's disturbing stuff.
Worms crawling out of a dead man's eye, and a cow drops dead on a field, and a naked baby is running through the streets with a fire raging behind it. And I was sitting there saying, should I be acting like I'm enjoying this, or should I be... It was just the oddest setting. It's just dark, creepy. I didn't know really what to do. Should I applaud that when it's over, or should I just...
I think concerts are bad for first dates, for sure. They're so awkward.
Really? Why?
I had a first date at a concert, and I guess you learn really quick if they're... if you're compatible, whether or not, are they singing? Do they like to dance? Or are they just standing there just bored? And that happened to me as I brought someone to a concert that I was super excited about, and he seemed pretty excited, and he just stood there perfectly still the whole time.
That's how I make love.
It was so weird.
Randy Shaver, a listener wants to know, did you always bring a condom with you on a first date, or was that more of an 80s thing?
No, I did not.
Never brought condoms with on a first date?
No.
Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus wants to know, Randy, if your first date was at a drive-in restaurant and then they put the Brontosaurus burger on the side of your car and it flipped over.
No, but I always felt like it was a good start if she said yes to a drive-in movie as a first date.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was always a good idea.
That was a good idea.
You crawl right in the back of that station wagon.
Well, it depends how it's going, but yes, that's a A plus.
Or a bench seat, front of the pickup truck, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a lister that says, Jesus, what's left to do? Go scuba diving? What am I supposed to do?
I know, that's the thing.
Crazy expensive
Yeah,
things,
what
I'm
is
sure.
left to do? I mean, what would be the ideal place then?
Well, I think like
If those are the
type
places
of,
not to go.
the type of the people that are agreeing to this are the type of girls that think like you should take me out to like a 5-star restaurant first date, like drop $500 on me or else you're not worth my time.
I'd be afraid of setting a precedent that I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather disappoint them on the first date so they know what they're getting.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you go on a date. Things can get awkward. This is cute. Montana Jesus texted in, and he said he had a first date at a concert, and the gal whispers to him out of nowhere, I pee my pants when I drink Captain Morgan.
Was she drinking Captain at the time?
Would you get down on one knee and present the ring at that point, Nick?
Well, Josh knows that I've been into potty games in the past.
Yeah, he likes water sports.
Yeah.
Water sports.
Crazy Fish Guy Jesus said you could go axe throwing on a first date. Well, I can't throw, so I'm not going to do that.
I can picture
That's embarrassing for Josh.
Yeah, I do not. I can't do it.
That doesn't sound bad, but I just don't know if I can tolerate that many hipsters in one night.
There's going to be some beers and some flannels that will join there.
Man buns.
Will they allow me in there if I don't have a massive old-timey mustache and I'm not wearing a T-shirt from some indie band that no one's heard of?
And you didn't pull up on an e-unicycle, that kind of thing?
Right.
A lot of people are saying concerts are, via text here, concerts are great first dates.
Huh.
Okay. There you go. Oh, wow. So
Concerts can be expensive, though, too. That's
especially these days.
First date.
Insane.
Jeez Louise.
It's a lot different.
That's an investment because it's probably more than just the concert. You probably went to dinner before or
drinks
something afterward.
But you're right about that. Hey, me and this gal are going to go see Metallica this summer, and I'm out $17,000,
Tatted Mama Jesus said, I had a first date last year at a strip club, and it was my idea. He was uncomfortable, but I loved it. He was a trooper.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, people were joking earlier. How about a strip club? How about Hooters? How are those?
Hooters.
I love Hooters.
You and your girlfriend go there often, don't you?
We've been there more than a handful of times in our relationship so far.
If I remember correctly, I did go on one first date to the Boom Boom Room.
Huh.
Yeah. We enjoyed the hell out of it.
Was that your idea?
Can't remember. It was a long time ago, Randy Shaver. I doubt I argued much. But
was it her day off, or was she working that?
She was.
Did you meet her there because she was working?
She was not an employee.
I had a buddy once who he really liked this girl and he wanted to ask her out and do something with her, but he wanted to kind of make it a group thing to kind of take some of the pressure off. So he invited her and us and this group of people to go play laser tag together, which, kind of fun activity when you're, 22, 23. And we go and, things were going well. We're having some laughs beforehand. He got so into laser tag that by the end of the game, he's sweating just profusely. Oh. And it just completely just got derailed after that. Like, you could have just had some laughs and, shot, some people and got some kills. But no, he had to get really, really into it.
I haven't thought about laser tag in a while. I wonder if something, with the popularity of pickleball, would that be a good first date or not?
I don't know. Do you sweat a lot during that?
Is. No, you don't have to. You can if you want.
Okay.
Doubles, not as much.
We went disc golfing one time on a first date.
She into pot?
Yes.
Great idea, Wapple. I'd be a little iffy
pot
about
and
that,
exercise.
Yeah, pot and walking.
Nature.
I wouldn't want to be asked to go exercise on a first date. That's just me.
I mean,
I don't.
Like a hike. You wouldn't go on a hike.
Are you effing kidding me? Absolutely not. Britney Spears could ask me to go on a friggin' hike, and I would say no. Is there an NFL game tonight?
I think there is.
There is.
Mm-hmm. Who's playing?
Tampa Bay and Buffalo.
Ooh.
I like Tampa Bay.
Made for Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on? Viking safety Cam Bynum has been named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I don't know if that pumps anybody up or not.
Seems like a good guy.
I think the overriding story with him, though, is his plea to try to get his wife over here from the Philippines. She can't get a visa.
Yeah, how am I supposed to help with that?
Well, I'm just saying he made a public plea again about it after the game, and now it sounds like there's some Congress people from Minnesota working to try to help him figure out a solution.
That's
Our
awesome.
foundation is to help everybody out there in the Philippines that's really going through any tough time, whether it's typhoon victims, poverty, and just any everyday thing that they may be struggling with. And also my wife, she's in the Philippines working on her visa. It's been getting denied. So if anybody out there can help with the visa process, I greatly appreciate it.
All right. Second week in a row, I think, that a Vikings been NFC Defensive Player of the Week. The prior week, Jordan Hicks won that little honor for playing well in Chicago. We will be seeing a lot of Halloween costumes from here on out at ball games. We're getting close to Halloween.
Yep.
There was a college football game on ESPN2 last night between the home club, Sam Houston State, and the visiting team was the University of Texas at El Paso. The Clayboy was calling that one. I watched a little bit of it. Clay Matvick was calling that one. But I missed this, if in fact they covered it on television. Some kid got escorted out of the stands for showing up dressed like a big fat penis plus testicles.
It was pretty funny.
This is up on 93x.com.
Those testicles were mammoth.
Huge.
I think the caption was, "I thought this was America."
I mean, he can barely walk.
Yeah, he could barely walk around in that getup.
That was funny.
Nice try, but they tossed him off, or tossed him out.
What?
That would have been the costume to wear to Grady Dick's debut.
Dude, I wonder if Toronto Raptor fans will catch on to that and start. He becomes a big star. Here are the cute comments from social media dorks. That guy had a lot of balls wearing that costume. That's totally nuts. The team goes up 21-0, and all of a sudden the fans get all cocky. It's been a hard season. I'll get into that tomorrow if we have to. I had something in front of me. I thought we weren't doing this power slap game anymore.
I think some of the television went away, right?
Yeah.
And now there's the women's division.
Oh, I thought that the whole schmear had been gassed, but
maybe. I thought it wasn't on TV anymore.
Because what we found yesterday is there's a women's power slap league, Summers. There was a match the other night between a lady named Sheena Bathory and another lady named Christine Wolmerans. And I think this is the mix-up. This is the matchup. Bathory cracked this Wolmerans lady in the face. There's video going around of this. You ought to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jason Herzog calls a stop to the match in round number 2, declaring the winner by knockout, Sheena, the Hungarian Hurricane Bathory.
The first ever women's match in Power Slap officially.
I just realized that if I get slapped first, that's the thing which is bring out the best from me, for sure.
Now knowing all this, what do you want to be next for you here?
Maybe Ronda Rousey. She have done many type of sports, right? Yeah. Maybe we should involve her to Power Slap. Why not?
All right.
I have a hard time watching these videos because it's just like, there's the CTE right there.
Whatsoever.
I thought it was funny the first time I saw it, and you get over it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Did you hear that capacity crowd they had going in the background?
Oh, they were going nuts.
Well, no, you should see the video just because this Bathory slaps this other gal in the friggin' eardrum so damn hard that the gal goes out cold and then is kind of flopping like a fish there on the ground for a little while. That part's kind of fun.
It's on 93x.com.
I don't know how, why, in God's name, anyone would sign up for.
Right. No, me neither.
It's so dumb.
Yesterday, Nick, we were talking about Joey Belladonna, the singer of Anthrax, and how he sings national anthems and seventh inning stretches and stuff like that at ball games. And we were wondering if he still does it. I got a text saying he's doing it this weekend. He'll be singing the national anthem before the Chiefs and Broncos game.
Is that right?
Yes, I looked it up, and it sounds like that's going to happen. They're at Mile High, I believe.
Because when I saw him sing the national, Randy Shaver, Joey Belladonna from Anthrax, your opinion on
I'm not familiar.
Fair enough.
What?
I saw him sing the national anthem at the old Metrodome. It had to have been over 15 years ago. And he's still going town to town. Well, good for him.
Yeah, it's great.
Before the Chiefs game at home against
the Broncos.
I'll have to try to, I don't know if a guy could look that up and try to find that. I don't know the rules anymore.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will post it on social media.
All right, so now this Chris Russo radio guy, the guy who promised he'd retire if the Diamondbacks...
Mad Dog?
Huh?
Mad Dog, yeah.
Mad Dog.
You guys know him?
Yeah, well, not personally.
Who he is.
Oh, okay. The guy who promised he'd retire if the Diamondbacks beat Philly in the National League Championship Series. He's backed out of his promise to retire, but he'll now wear a Diamondbacks bikini as punishment.
How about this? You come on my show. I'll come into Manhattan for this. We put you in a bikini, and you walk down the street with a sign that says, I'm a douche. If you do that, people will say, okay, it's all right. Mad Dog sucks.
That's fair. That one would... I can live with that. That's not the worst idea. I don't. Do I have
And
to
by
have
the way,
sign?
and by the way,
do I
Mad
have
Dog,
to have the sign to announce it? Do I have to go that crazy?
Yes.
I'm going
I
to tell
do.
you something.
All right.
If you do that, and everyone will say, wow, this guy was stand up, he took it, obviously he couldn't retire, but he was humiliated. He was in a bikini, and he had a sign on that said, I'm a douche. And he walked down the street in Manhattan.
Okay, that dude sounds a hell of a lot like Howard Stern.
That was Howard Stern.
Oh.
I think so, yeah.
And the Russo guy sounded like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas.
Yeah, he has that delivery.
So now he's going to walk down the street in a bikini holding a sign that says, I'm a douche.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he should walk down the streets of Phoenix wearing that. That's where he didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Against Arizona. Why do it in New York?
Yeah. I hear you, Randy.
He should have to walk around the stadium where Arizona plays.
That's a better idea.
By the way, I got a kick out of this, on the topic of sports writers and sports broadcasters and radio personalities and all that. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Fox, Brad Ryder made mention of this. Fox Television isn't excited about this year's World Series because they're not East or West Coast teams, and that's where the ratings come from and this and that. The ratings are going to be down. Who effing cares? It's not about that for me. I don't care if I'm the only person watching. I love the World Series. Even when I was in the cooler, we'd watch the World Series and have a riot. I love what Deadspin had to say about all these effing articles going around about how this is the least appealing World Series in years and the ratings are going to be crap. Deadspin said those types of articles are simply baseball writers bitching about not getting to go to cities on the company dime that they'd prefer to get drunk in. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Dusty Baker's going to retire.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
The man deserves it.
No, I know. I understand that.
If I were him, I would have walked away years ago. Dusty Baker's one of my favorite baseball personalities ever.
I just told the guys I loved them, and I appreciate their effort and appreciate how they go about their business. And then I'll evaluate my situation in my life. We'll see. I'll talk to my daughter. I got 2 grandsons, a year and a half. I mean, I've really sort of cheated them for my quest for another ring. I got 2 dogs, hunting dogs, a year old. They wouldn't even know me when I walk in the house.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been home since February the 10th.
Yeah. That's a hard life. When you sit and think about it, that's a hard life.
Yeah.
Those baseball players, baseball managers. I mean, it's one thing to play baseball and have that life. It's another thing to be like a manager. You're not playing, but you've got to be there every day. You've got to show up.
You have to wear a uniform.
Yeah, that's
especially for an older person. But still, I think I'd take that hard life on if they're going to give me $28 million.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that makes it worth it to some degree.
He's all done, and he one of the best managers the game has ever seen, and a great player.
I was just going to say, a very, very good player too.
And wasn't Dusty Baker on the receiving end of the very first high five in the history of sports?
I don't know that.
I want to say that Dusty was on the receiving end of the very first high five in the history of all sports when he was playing for the Dodgers back in the 70s. You can probably look that up.
No, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, the 2 documented candidates are Dusty Baker and Glenn Burke.
Glenn Burke. They called him old hot nuts.
don't think that's what they
Back
call
in those days. Hot Nuts Glenn Burke. The Pigs are going to go ahead and play in Philadelphia tonight. They got a scheduled game against the Flyers, 6:30 on ESPN+.
Yeah.
You know, this is ridiculous. I seriously doubt it's going to happen. But we did ask Marcus Foligno on the radio yesterday, day before. I can't remember when we talked to him.
Yesterday.
Just yesterday.
We talked to Marcus Foligno. It's going to be every couple of week thing. He's our new pal. Randy Shaver, don't be jealous.
Why is he on so late?
You know what? That's changing next time.
Yep.
Oh.
He wanted to talk to you, so he'll be on earlier, not next Wednesday, but the following.
He's never heard of Randy Shaver.
That's true, but he did say he could come on early.
Randy Shaver and Marcus Foligno are like Dusty Baker and his damn hunting dogs. They're
right.
totally unfamiliar.
Never met.
No idea who you are.
No, that's
Heard of you. Don't know. Never met you.
I'm glad that somebody brought that up. From here on out, we're gonna get him on when you are on, Randy. Okay.
That was the original goal. It just took a little bit to get it going.
We asked Marcus Foligno just to be a total dick tonight, and maybe he and a couple of the other veteran players during warm-ups would put on an Arizona Diamondbacks baseball cap playing in Philly tonight. Just do a couple laps with that ball cap on.
That'd be so awesome.
And he sounded like, he wasn't completely opposed to the idea. He said he was gonna make some phone calls.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be
funny.
gutsy. I'm sorry. That would be a little gutsy.
Golden Gopher hockey. I hate this wacky Thursday, Friday. That's not how you do it in college hockey.
No. It should be Friday, Saturday.
But they're playing at home against Wisco. 8 o'clock on the Big Ten.
Why do they do that? Is there a reason
TV
why?
thing, I'm guessing?
It's a TV deal.
Oh.
TV.
Ever since they came into the Big Ten, they've been pushing to move them to Thursdays more.
I'm sorry. I just don't care for the Big Ten
You
hockey.
have no reason to apologize to us. You don't care for Big Ten hockey.
I wish it was the old way.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yep.
I do.
Oh.
I wish it was UMD and Denver. And
You guys are nuts. Big Ten hockey
North
is so
Dakota.
much better than the old WCHA. It's so much
Is it
better.
really? Seriously?
Are you friggin' kidding me? Of course it's not. It sucks.
God, I love watching Ohio State versus
Yeah.
Penn State on a Saturday night.
Yeah. I mean, I just miss those days.
Everybody does.
Yep.
Every single solitary Golden Gopher hockey fan. I have not met one that enjoys the setup now, but it is what it is. Finally, Randy, and then we better get the hell out of here. Tuesday night, a Pittsburgh Penguins rookie. Boy, he wanted to make a name for himself in his first NHL game, and by God, he laid out a nice open ice body check on a member of the Dallas Stars. Don't worry, it wasn't Ryan Suter.
That was a big hit.
That was my first question.
He laid out a nice open ice body check. You never see those anymore. Guys don't even know how to do that anymore. But this young Penguins player by the name of John Ludwig, he knocked himself the F out when he threw the hit. He was sound asleep before he hit the ice. Is this up on our website?
Yes.
Just snoring.
When they were helping him off, it looked like he didn't even know what planet he was on.
No.
He looked so out of it.
Well, I mean, who looked more unconscious, this John Ludwig or that gal from the slap fight video?
I'm going to say John.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. They both were just... Like, don't tell me I'll get it. The little guy used to hang out with Big Cass, Wapple. He hung out with Big...
Help
Yeah, go ahead.
Enzo Amore.
Remember when Enzo Amore got knocked out by the ring ropes and was absolutely snoring on the floor during that pay-per-view a number of years ago?
I forgot about that.
You should look that up. It's scary. I mean, all of this stuff is scary, but also quite funny. The old-timey guys, they had the twisty mustaches. They were called the... Remember those guys, Wapple? One of them fires...
Wow, Wapple, you all right?
There's a heck of a groan there, Wapple.
Yeah.
Really.
I like their gimmick.
Like he's on the toilet.
That
Yeah,
English
you're
guy...
broadcasting from the stall.
Aiden English was in this tag team group.
the other one?
They fired Enzo into the ropes, and he was supposed to kind of scoot through them. Instead, he hit his forehead on the ropes, falls down onto the floor, and you can watch little birds flying around his head, and you can almost hear him snoring.
And then they do the shot where they kind of go down to him by the ring, and he's like under it, and you can just see his eyes are just dazed. He's looking off into nothing.
What were they called? That old-timey tag team? They didn't last very long. But anyway, Check out the video of the vaudevillains.
Yep, there it is.
I knew one of our listeners would get it. The vaudevillains. Check out the video of the sleeping hockey player. He did not return to the game, but the reports are that he's doing all right. Doing all right, Randy Shaver. Which was, of course, one of the first songs that Freddie Mercury worked on with Queen back in the early 70s, but I didn't need to tell you guys that. Didn't need to tell you that at all, did I?
No.
Good. All right, tomorrow we'll have a dad fight ready for you and Brad.
Okay.
And other laughs, I'm sure, Randy, but you've done an unbelievable job this morning.
Stellar.
That's a laugh, but that's fine.
I wish you had a more definitive story on your last first date. That would be fun to hear about.
My last first date?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's got to be over 38 years ago. I don't know.
Man, I want to know how far you got.
I am not going there.
I want to
know.
know.
You can pry all you'd like. I'm not going.
You're like a steel trap. For now. All right, Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see ya.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
In 1995, veteran police officer Michael Chappell was convicted of armed robbery and murder and has spent the past 30 years in prison. The true crime podcast, In the Land of Lies, explores the untold side to this story, one that could prove Michael Chappell is actually innocent. See why people are calling In the Land of Lies incredible, phenomenal, and a must-hear podcast. Binge the entire series now, and new episodes are coming soon. Imperative Entertainment presents In the Land of Lies. Get the podcast wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
We're back on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. What have we been babbling about so far? Oh, yeah. We were talking to Randy Shaver about the long list of places that are no longer good enough for a first date. You got your Buffalo Wild Wings, your Olive Garden, your Chili's, the bowling alley, the bar, church. None of this is good enough anymore, according to social media morons. You know, I think if a woman asked me out on a first date and asked me to go to church with her, I think I'd call the police.
I'd laugh.
I think I'd call the police. So, here's what else. We've covered that in great detail, the dating thing. Here's what else folks are jaw-jacking about. Should Halloween be officially moved to the last Saturday of October?
I'm so sick of this argument. No.
This is brand new to me.
No, why no, out of curiosity? Because it's your birthday?
She wants all the attention on her birthday.
Oh, for God's sake, nobody cares that it's your birthday. Dana Wapple
My
said.
mom cares. Thank you very much.
Your mom-
and
yeah.
also, I don't like that it's just everything needs to be catered to children 24/7.
Your mom doesn't care as much as you think she
I have
does.
the same opinion on Father's Day.
But Ashley, you're having a Halloween party on the Saturday before Halloween.
Yeah. Not on a yeah, so?
So you're celebrating Halloween on the Saturday before Halloween.
I'll be celebrating Halloween on Tuesday.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Ashley.
And on Saturday.
Yeah.
And
the Saturday
like-
before
and the
Halloween.
following Saturday, the last Saturday.
You know, the last whole month as well.
Ashley, I'm sorry I was hollering at you. I'm sure your mother loves you and everything. I'm sorry. I lost my cool there for a second. And you know that I also greatly dislike children. But you're looking at this all wrong. You're focusing too much on that side of it, thinking that this is a move just for the kids, so parents and children can have a full night of activities and not worry about going to school. They move Halloween to the last Saturday of October. You know, we party our balls off, especially a young person like you. I mean, maybe you party your balls off anyway. But if it gets moved to the last Saturday of October, year after year after year, I think it will become even a bigger event than it already is.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Look at it that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. People would probably be, I guess, trick-or-treating probably wouldn't be dying out the way that it is. Because now they're doing all the trunk or treat stuff because that stuff is on the weekend, so you don't really have your classic trick-or-treaters like you used to.
I thought it was kids don't get stolen.
So what happens?
Kids don't get stolen.
So kids don't get stolen?
Yeah, because then you have
You mean
everyone
abducted?
Yeah, like
stolen.
The trunk or treat?
Yeah, because then everyone's in one area. They don't have to go to some random person's house.
You know what? I've always that always has made me giggle because
kids get stolen.
That's a perfect way for a kid to get stolen. Walk up to a stranger's car that has their trunk open.
Well, and I think the Saturday's more really for adults. So you're not having to do all that stuff on a work night. Also you're not going to interrupt football if it's a Saturday night, that kind of thing.
That's a good point.
I don't think the kids, they don't care what day it is.
Yeah, the kids don't care. It's about
for the adults that get involved.
Yeah, because there'd be nothing worse than working 10 hours a day and then you have to come home and then you're walking around with the kid cold at night, just miserable.
I had a bad I had a bad night last night. Someone broke in my house, stole my kid.
They also abducted the jewelry I had in there.
Yeah, they abducted my big screen television, stole my kid. This is new to me, unless I'm forgetting. I hadn't heard this movement before, this movement to switch Halloween to the last how do you say it, Saturday.
The last several years, it's become a thing.
Is that right?
More steam.
Yeah.
Is there a reason that it's on the 31st specifically? I guess I can't really find anything.
Yeah, you look it up. It's you got to go. You go back to the 1500s or something like that. Yeah, there's something to it. I can't remember exactly what it is.
Okay.
Would you rather move Halloween or the Super Bowl?
See, that's
rather than the Super Bowl if it's a rather.
I think we deal with the Super Bowl first. Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't have kids. I'm not into Halloween. I don't give a rat's ass when it is. So if you're asking me, Wapple, I'd say, and it's not just the Super Bowl. Every major and collegiate sport championship should be on a Saturday.
Yeah, I hate when the NCAA championships on a Monday.
Right,
Yeah,
it
it always
sucks.
is.
The basketball title game's on a Monday. The football is usually nowadays. I think it's on a Tuesday.
And then we can make WrestleMania back into one day, but move it to Saturday.
There you go.
Waffle's making all sorts of plans over here.
What do you do?
Waffle in charge of everything.
What are you doing between 2024 and 2028, Waffle?
Not much. Just sitting here.
I agree. We've had these conversations before. Pay-per-view, wrestling pay-per-views on Sunday. And you don't text in. We get why they do it because we're at Sundays. The idea is we're a captive audience. We're not out drinking and raising hell with our buddies. We're sitting at home. Sundays, Mondays. That's why they place these friggin' big games and big events on the... Before we handle Halloween, every major title game needs to be played on a Friday or a Saturday night. Tired of waking up feeling like garbage because I stayed up to... And of course, I could skip the event, but I don't like to skip the event. I don't even like football anymore, but I still want to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what's going on, Skis.
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
None of this will ever happen.
Nah.
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
Before you and I are dead, Josh, you think Halloween might be moved or Super Bowl might be moved, things like that?
Oh, well, I was specifically talking about Halloween.
Oh.
I could see that happening. Or it's just that's just when people celebrate it, right?
It doesn't even be official, but just more and more people probably will.
It's already changing. I mean, there's already neighborhoods that do it certain days or set times, things like that.
Oh, really? Does your neighborhood do that? Do they, coordinate it?
They did the last couple of years as far as, times, and people were supposed to just be in their driveways doing things, but that was more pandemic related.
That's kind of nice that you have a hard out time.
And I forget who said it. Someone said it, but with the more events like Mall of America, let's say, or bigger places where they host all these kids, that's kind of when they do it, right? Maybe not trick-or-treating the night of, but more like that.
Yeah, okay, so there's been petitions going around and this and that. Doesn't matter one way or the other to me. But Josh says, if Josh says he thinks it might happen, then I'll go along with it. And text messages here are reminding me, what the hell's this guy saying right here? almost all WWE pay-per-views are on Saturday nights now, except for the 2-day WrestleMania. I didn't know that, Wapple. I've been watching AEW.
Yeah, that and then SummerSlam, they have a 2-day event, I believe.
Well, see, it doesn't count if you're doing it 2 days. That doesn't count. That's ridiculous. I'm not much of a pay-per-view guy anymore. So maybe that. So according to I'll Always Walk with Elias Jesus, that moving pay-per-views to Saturday thing is already happening. Okay, good.
Yeah, I remember watching the Royal Rumble this year on Saturday night.
But that really doesn't matter because, I mean, WrestleMania is the day that you want to watch if you're a wrestling fan because you're going to have surprises. You're going to have every title is pretty much on the line. You know, these other pay-per-views, they're just kind of smaller. So I want the big coup de grace to have its full day, have the day off.
One day, and that be Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to have a bad hangover.
And I think they should move the work week to only Fridays every other Friday.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because listeners are texting in and reminding me of the conversation about daylight savings time. Do we squash that? Do we keep going with that? I don't understand daylight savings time in the first place, but I've heard that. And Josh just brought up, I think just on the radio 1 or 2 days ago, I heard another story about switching everything over to a 4-day work week. Something else I doubt will ever happen. But we're hearing more and more of these conversations, which is good.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm wrong. I would love for the standard to be a 4-day work week. But in America, we have such a wicked hard-on for work.
Gosh, right, yeah.
We do. We do.
Everybody wants to tell you how many hours they put in, and I never take a day off.
And I get it. I get why. I mean, that's what makes things go round. But if we just let that grip loosen a little bit on that ideology, maybe we'll get somewhere. And we'll be working Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday.
God, that would be sweet.
Yeah. And what's this? Furthermore, on Halloween stuff, what's this? Celebrities who've had sex with ghosts. No, you didn't. That's called masturbating. That's called masturbating. You did not have sex with a ghost.
Is that really what it's called? In that case, I have slept with a lot of ghosts in my day.
more ghosts than women.
Me too, bud.
Do you want to know the list of celebrities who claim that they had sex with a ghost? Kesha.
I love Kesha. She's out there, though.
She claims a ghost started caressing her and then they had sex. One of my favorite ladies of all time. God rest her soul. She woke up dead a number of years ago. Anna Nicole Smith, she claims. A ghost crawled up her leg and folded her when she was young. She freaked out, but it was amazing sex.
That's good.
Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown, the guy who was married to Whitney Houston, and of course, most notably, he was involved in one of the greatest bands to ever live, New Edition, one of my favorite bands. Bobby Brown woke up with the sensation of a woman on top of him. He looked in the mirror and he could see a woman straddling him on the bed. It felt exactly like sex. Dude, what are you talking about? What are you doing? I loved you in New Edition. No, don't get me wrong. New Edition fans are saying, well, did you take it hard when Johnny Gill replaced? No. As much as I love Bobby Brown, I also love Johnny Gill. I love all the members of New Edition. But anyway, he's talking about how he saw the ghost woman having sex with him. Lucy Liu. We haven't heard her name in a long time.
Yeah, seriously.
She's going even further with this. A spirit came down from God. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read the complete sentence. A spirit came down from God knows where and made love to her. It was sheer bliss. She felt everything. And then he floated away.
Like your sex doll, Wapple, the blow-up sex doll. Sprung a leak and floated away.
Picture Wapple.
Yeah, that's why I have my sex doll on a string tied to my wrist now.
Just put an anchor on
it.
Just picture like an open field, a sex doll blowing away, and Wapple chasing it with his pants at his ankles.
Tears flowing down his cheeks.
And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I thought this was a list of celebrities who claim to have sex with ghosts. Sorry, this is as good as it gets at this point on the list. Next up is Coco Austin, the lady who married Ice-T.
Whoever that
She had a
is.
TV show for a while, I think.
She did not have a TV show.
Yeah, like a reality show.
Yeah, uh-huh.
She said she was watching TV, sitting on the couch, wearing just a nightie. Some of us know how that feels, some of us do not. She felt her dress move. I looked down, I got freaked out. And then I felt a guy breathing in her ear. She felt a guy breathing in her ear. And so that, I guess that meant a ghost was penetrating her. And finally, Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd.
Well, I saw him get a BJ from one.
Wasn't that, what was the documentary called
It was
again?
called Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
True story about some people who busted ghosts.
Dan Aykroyd claims he had, whatever, dude. Sounds like he claims it might have been a guy, too, that he had sex with.
Oh.
Now we're talking. All right.
Wonder who of us would be most likely to have sex with a ghost.
Ashley.
I'm thinking, yeah, Ashley.
What?
Yeah, I think
Why
so.
me?
Well, because you're sort of a believer in this kind of thing.
Yeah, and you have like a dark Halloween vibe all year long.
Yeah, you guys are probably right.
Yeah.
I could see you
I'll
doing
give you
it.
that.
I think that you have to have a pretty solid belief in ghosts to claim such a thing. You know, how many times do you turn on a documentary, I was attacked by a ghost, right?
Yep.
And then the person tells their story, and they just so happen to also have a ghost hunting academy. You know what I mean? It's never a person that says, I have no interest in such things. You got to have a little bit of a belief there.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it, Cubby, right there.
I wouldn't turn down ghost sex if it was ever offered.
No, who would?
No.
Who would? You mark that off your list, right? Mark that off your list of accomplishments, sexual accomplishments. We were just talking about wacky-ass celebrities who claimed that they had intercourse with a ghost. None of that ever happened.
No.
Just let's be clear about this. Sex with a ghost. Although I'll say this, since hearing the stories that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, a few of our listeners, men and women, have been praying for the untimely death of Jennifer Aniston.
I can see why.
Man.
I mean, I hope she lives out her natural life. But I also hope that I survive past her just from the slight chance there's something to this.
That you could be like Bobby Brown from New Edition and have sex with a ghost.
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
I thought maybe...
Do you count a ghost as a tally on your list?
I just, before we closed the last break, I said, yeah, you check it off your,
Bucket list.
Wapple, it all
okay.
counts. You, of all people, should want to count that.
Oh, I want to count like 15 of those.
I've counted some that I haven't even had sex with in the past.
It's close enough.
I've doubled my number.
And if ever I was going to predict there'd be a member of New Edition to claim that he had sex with a ghost, I was thinking more Ralph Tresvant or Ronnie DeVoe.
Oh, I see Bobby Brown just because he's had a couple of substances in his system over the years where he might just believe it.
I was thinking Ralph or Ronnie. All right, well, while we're on the topic, 42% of people have felt a paranormal presence in their home.
Yeah.
You're
What do you
saying
mean,
yeah? Yeah, as in you have, or yeah, as in...
Well, I believe so, just because at my house in Bayport, when I lived there, I guess there was up in the rafters, there was evidence of there being a really bad fire there. And it was never on any of the paperwork. The city had no record of there ever being a fire there. And so that weirded me out, and I started having really bad sleep paralysis. I've never had it before. And that makes you believe in this kind of stuff.
Oh,
Sleep
come
paralysis.
on.
Have you had sleep paralysis?
No.
It's absolutely terrifying.
I'm not come-oning at sleep paralysis. I'm come-oning at the idea that it's connected to some kind of fire in the roof of the house.
Well, because a lot of people believe sleep paralysis is a demon coming to you.
For me, I've had it where...
I'll kill you. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
I think it was a ghost. That was
I hope that wasn't directed at me. Actually, I embrace it at this point. I've had it where in a dream I couldn't move. Right? That's not sleep paralysis,
No,
though, right? It's when you wake up and...
Yeah, so your eye, you can open your eyes and your brain is on, but your body is still turned off.
That was great. Josh said, I'd embrace it at this point.
Yeah, I welcome it. It's been that kind of day. On liver number 2, Jesus said he has sex with a corpse every year on his anniversary.
Oh, no.
Oh, geez.
Oh, no.
More anxiety than hair, Jesus said. I had sex with a girl and then I was ghosted. Does that count?
It's been some awesome sex.
Well, yeah, maybe it was. It was just so good. She's like, I don't want to ruin this.
Yeah. This is the perfect one-night stand.
42% of us have felt a paranormal presence in
I have
their
not.
Nah, me neither.
home.
Or if I have, I didn't recognize it as one.
Yeah, maybe we're just oblivious to very obvious signs, Josh.
Yeah, your house is just the most haunted house in the world. And you're
Bullets
like,
flying off the bookshelf.
"Da-di-da-di-da."
Well, it's a money pit, I can tell you that much.
37% of folks have heard unexplained sounds. And I'll tell you right now what they exactly mean by unexplained sounds. Things like voices or even footsteps.
Footsteps?
Footsteps.
Oh, footsteps.
Right. 18% of folks say they've actually seen an apparition.
I've only got one friend who totally believes he's got a ghost in his house. Whole family, they're really convinced.
Is it just
Is
like
it a
another
friendly ghost?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's named Gary.
Oh.
And yeah, apparently he's just kind of there.
Gary.
You ever met Gary?
No, I have not.
You think Gary would be like a ghost would want a scarier name than Gary?
Well, Gary was a real guy, right? And Gary has since passed, so it's Gary's ghost. I don't know if you get a nickname when you die or not.
What was his last name? Maybe that's more spooky. Like Mr. Ludwig.
Gary, Mr. Ludwig?
Yeah, like his last name's Ludwig, so you could call him Mr. Ludwig.
That is a spooky last name.
Oh, is Ludwig a spooky? That's where you're going with that? Ludwig is a spooky last name?
Spookier than Gary.
There's a listener in our audience who claims one night his Rottweiler began barking at the ceiling. Well, I once watched a dog eat a massive pile of some other dog's feces, so I don't...
I thought it was going to keep going.
Yeah, sometimes dogs are just dogs.
Yeah, my dogs bark at random crap too. Sometimes though, do you guys ever have that moment where your dog is like barking at a random corner and you kind of look around? You're like,
I hear what you're saying, but the problem is with ours, so one starts and then the other one's like, I'm going to join in here, and then they kind of, I think they forget what they were barking at because just they keep going back and forth.
That's the worst.
My girlfriend's convinced that my cat can see ghosts or spirits because early in the morning the cat will be like wailing, whining the whole time, running around, just doing weird stuff, staring at walls.
Okay.
Just zones out at walls.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just a cat.
20. I always love this bit. I do. This is one of my favorites. Whenever the topic of haunted houses come up, I always love this. 24% of people say they would buy a house that's haunted. A lot of folks say that to try and come off interesting or tough or something. But deep down, I don't think they'd ever buy a house if there really, really, truly was something effed up going on in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But a lot of folks, I would do it. It's just saying that usually they have dyed purple hair, and have a Marilyn Manson shirt on, or something.
Yeah, or people that say that they would have no problem like living in a house where there was a massacre. How could you do that?
Yeah, give me a break on that.
Yeah, there's no way. No. I'm not a big or a believer in ghosts, but yeah, I don't want to live in a massacre house or anything like that.
It's bad vibes. Bad vibes.
Thank you.
Plenty good non-massacre houses out there.
Yeah.
Officially changing my name, Jesus sleeps on a Casper mattress. Wants to know if that counts. Does that count? Sleeping with the ghost?
So comfortable. They are so comfortable.
They are nice.
I don't know why I'm not running ads for them.
Well, yeah, you did at one point.
I did.
I guess.
So there you go. There's lots of scary things going around. A lot of us won't even make it through the day.
Duck hunting Jesus wants to shout out his smoking hot now fiance, Shorty B. Jesus, just engaged last weekend. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Happy 44th birthday to me and the ghost I hope to have birthday sex with tonight. That's from college football official Jesus. TBI Epilepsy Jesus text us to let us know. Today's his marks 5 years seizure-free. That's great.
That's awesome.
And he said he can't thank the doctors and nurses out there enough. And then finally, happy birthday to Muggs Slingin' Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93 Returns.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.